Good evening, it's Friday, the weekend is finally upon us, and it's a weekend for Ange to go and splurge his newly received severance package, because the big news of today has been that Ange Postecoglou has finally been giving his marching orders, something that I think we kind of knew was coming, but the Europa League win put a little bit of doubt in there. How is everyone this fine Friday? How have your weeks been? Have you got anything exciting planned for the weekend? I see there are already some glorious people in. We've got a bit of Viva, we've got a bit of Zeratul, we've got just a tiny little dash of FMG in the medical car, we've got YT clipped, we've got Night of Knee as well. Lovely to see you all, chaps. And Draw is in, which is absolutely fabulous. I almost missed you off there, Draw. I do apologise. It is absolutely brilliant to see you all. We're going to head on in to see some lovely AC Milan. We've played 2 games so far of the second season, so there's not too much to catch you up on, thankfully. Now, Zeratul has said that he had to bribe the wife to be able to watch the stream tonight, and that means he's going to be shopping tomorrow. But maybe not, because he's considering Harry Kiri, because Saturday shopping is the worst. I kind of... Now, don't do that, obviously. Obviously don't do that, that would be bad, but at the same time, doesn't seem like the most extreme reaction, to be honest. I suppose it's a case of hopefully getting out nice and early before everything gets far too busy. So Night of Knee says he's got some rest coming up, but not that much. Tomorrow he's going to receive 287 kilograms of furniture to assemble. That is an obscene amount. That is the kind of thing that hopefully you can get as much of it done on the Saturday as possible, so you can at least relax and recover on the Sunday. Crodmo's in as well. Welcome in. Crodmo is feeding himself. Don't feed the Crodmo. We've established this. We've also got Rich Sun in. Welcome in, my dude. How are you, sire? How are you? Right, shall I catch you guys up on where we've been? That means I've got to remember to press the right button. There we go. So we're only 2 games in. We won a crazy win on the opening day of the season against Napoli. We won 3-1. We're 3-0 up inside the first 15 minutes away from home. And then we followed that up with a 0-0 draw at home to Empoli. Now, there has been some stuff going. As I moved the save on a whole week to the next game so we can head into it straight away, there's been some things going on. Number 1, Palermo have decided to snap Brazia, which I think seems very Italian. Bari have signed Rafael Fermi, and I'm now a little bit confused because, I hate missing out on players, but with the skin, we don't really know if this is an accurate representation of his attributes, which would make this a Fermi paradox. I'm quite happy with myself over that. I'm quite happy with myself. I mean, considering I've only just noticed that, it's not a good joke. It's not a good joke, that's for sure. Oh, I'm so dumb. I do apologise. I apologise wholeheartedly. So, we have been trying to get rid of a load of players, and we've done so with great success. We've raised 500 million euros, so 400 million there, plus 100 million for Abdul Fattawi and Matteo Ruggieri before the season rolled over. There is one player, however, that is still part of the squad. Nico Gonzalez asked to leave last year. I think Man United bid for him. We rejected it. We said, cool, we'll let you leave for like 90 million euros. He said, that's great. And we've come through to the summer, and every single time someone bids for him, he rejects them. Just in the last week, he's rejected Middlesbrough and Feyenoord, and he's still here. No bid currently, so that's going to be something we're looking to move on. Zeep, thank you for... Annie, thank you for the approval. It was a bad joke. I am still very proud of myself, but it was bad. Also, during the course this week, Elliot Caprile has come under bid from Newcastle. So the bid is 54.5 million euros. 12.5 million of that is going to be spread over 2 years. And then a further 21 million euros after making 20 league appearances. So it's a pretty decent package, up to potentially 76 million euros. And so we need a goalkeeper potentially. He's already agreed it. The work permit decision I think is on the 30th, so after the weekend, but obviously before the transfer window closes. And we've put in bids for 2 players. Now Obed Nkumbadio was a player that we were looking at. He's been pretty damn good for Sassuolo over the last few years. He's caused us problems. We've seen him in games where we weren't managing and he played very, very well. And so I'm kind of quite optimistic, and I really, really hope that we can get this deal done. He's really good at one-on-ones, not so great at rushing out, which isn't ideal for a sweeper keeper, but hopefully the good one-on-ones will kind of bounce that out. He's got excellent agility as well, and he's been performing above expectations. So I think last season he had something like 0.13 XGP, which is all right. I've also bid for Noah Atabulo, because when we bid for Nkumbadio, Sassuolo said, no, we want more time, and I panicked. So I've put a bid in for Atabulo as well. So we've got contracts offered out to both of them. He also denied 0.13 x or had 0.13 XGP in the last season. Very, very good goalkeeper. Doesn't have the agility, but his rushing out is better. I also like that he's got very, very good aerial reach. So in terms of like command of area, might have a slight edge in that regard. He is more expensive. His contract demands are higher as well. 195k compared to 135k, which are the deals that we've potentially agreed. But at least if we've got both of those in our, if we've got both going on, we should at least have one come through before the window closes, and we can feel nice and secure in that regard. That's a night of knee. As we say in Portugal, it was so bad that it went on circle turn and became good. That's all I ever hope for. 600 Radu. Yes, so just to be aware, the skin that you see on the stream isn't publicly available, and the version that's available via Patreon is a slightly different. But there's going to be more news on that coming up in the next couple of weeks, that's for sure. Zerachul, born in May. That's dodgy. Oh, I take it that only the worst people are born in May then, right? 25th of May for Atabulo. What's your opinion on February birthdays, Zerachul? So Nkumbadio, 7th of February. Oh, fuck. Oh, man. It really, really hurts seeing players born in the 2000s. Born in the 2000s. I mean, in this game world, I'm what, like 47? Yeah, around 47, which isn't too bad, I suppose. The proper keepers are born in July to December. Peter Schmeichel, Peter Shilton, and so on. Fair enough. There we go. I've learned something now. What's the worst month? So is it like a complete? If July to December are the best ones, so all first half, does that mean that, say, a March birthday, because that's right in the middle, like late March, early April is the worst type of goalkeeper? Right. We do have a mini game redeemed, so let's head on over to that, and then we'll get into our next game against Sampdoria. So we'll start, as we always do with our mini games, with a round of Guess the Player. If you're new in, let me explain how this works. Really straightforward. In a moment, you're going to see 4 pictures from a player's profile in FM24, one after the other. You're going to see the positions, you're going to see their attributes and traits, you're going to see their coach report, and you're going to see their club history. Your job is to guess who the player is as early as possible. The earlier you guess, the more points you get, and that gets you up on that lovely little scoreboard just beneath me there. So one other thing to note, this is FM24 at the beginning of the game on the default database. So players like Joshua Zirkzee, for example, have moved to Man United in real life, but at the start of the game they're at Bologna. Just something to be mindful of. Right, here's the first clue. So we have ourselves a right-footed target forward. So February is the worst, since it's not even a full month. That's a fair take there. So January born people are the best according to a friend. I mean, that seems pretty scientific as far as I'm concerned. Which says that's what you need to do. Player performance correlated with month of birth, or even star signs. I think it's got to be an approach. Maybe we could see who the best performers are. Maybe we'll discover that July is the best goalkeeper month. Peter Shilton couldn't put jump on Diego Maradona, a man the size of a child. Shilton was crap. It's a good argument, a good counter-argument indeed. So we do have some guesses coming in. We've got Højlund, we've got Lukaku, we've got Marcus Thuram, we've got Isaac, Beto, Giroud, and Morata. They're all fantastic guesses, but I'm afraid none of them are correct. Let's pop on over, have a look at their attributes for a moment. Could it be Wilson? It isn't Wilson either, I'm afraid. So Rich says a great goalkeeper, but jumping and coming off his line were big weaknesses. Evidently. GNG says, but could that man dive the right way for a penalty after it was taken? It's a reasonable skill to have. Let's be fair. So we do have some more guesses coming in. Zerachul is really wants to get those points. He's gone for Mitrovic. He's gone for Schick. He's gone for Calvert-Lewin. It's none of those, I'm afraid. Could it be? Crudmo has gone for Nick Voltemada. That's a very left field guess, because not just is it left field, but it's also a player that's still playing. Are you okay, Crudmo? Could it be Traore, or could it be Tony? It is neither of those, I'm afraid. But I mean, we're certainly in the right wheelhouse. We've got someone who's excellent at jumping, at heading, great determination, great strength. Your typical target forward. Could it be Gonçalo Ramos? Or let's further. There we go, Crudmo. That's a better Crudmo guess. Could it be Sebastian Haller? It is not Sebastian Haller. It is not Gonçalo Ramos either. Let's move on to the next clue. See if this helps at all. So on a serious note, kids born later in the school year, e.g. May onwards, many really do struggle as they are less developed relative to their peers, especially at young ages. That is very true. There is a lot of studies that correlate to the difference in academic performance between those born. A lot of it focuses on those born right at the beginning of the academic year. For us over in the UK, that's like your August, September, October, compared to those born right at the end, your May, June, Julys, and the difference is remarkably stark. So we have here a good Serie A player, and so the guesses are coming in. Could it be Osimhen? Could it be Abraham? Could it be Matteo Retegui? Could it be Immobile or Iglitar? Oh, Iglitar, he's got such a satisfying name to say. It is none of those, I'm afraid. Zeratrul says draw got it, me guesses. Draw did not get it. It is not Osimhen. It is not Abraham. It is not Retegui. It is not Immobile. It's not Belotti. It is, however, he's made only two sensible guesses, which is a record for him on Guess the Player, to be fair, and I do very much appreciate it. But it is indeed the player that starts the game on loan at Udinese, Lorenzo Luca. That is a fabulous 2 points going the way of Crudmo. The Pinamonti was a fine guess, as was Skamaka. Very nice guesses. Iglitar is a Pokemon, I'm sure of it. I could believe that. Crudmo brings home the turkey bacon. Oh, I suppose, actually, I was going to say, but that's the worst bacon. But that makes sense. 2 points isn't. If you were to be bringing home the bacon, you would have got 5 points. So that can work. That could work. So Rich says, just to clarify, best of September onwards, as that's Ween school year start. August is worst time to be born from that point of view. Okay, I think. So there was definitely the oldest person when I was at school was an August 30th birthday, but thinking about it, might have entered the school system in Scotland, where I think the cutoff is different. So fair enough. So Zeratrul, never heard of him. A fine excuse. Fine excuse. Right, shall we head on over into a game? So we're up against Sampdoria. Oh, no, wrong one. Professional, as always. Yeah, so we're going straight into a game away from home against Sampdoria. They're going to be playing a 3-4-3. So a nice little mirror match up there. They've got players that I like. They've got the boy genius, Yanis Konstantelios. 2 games you can't judge on, but that's not a good start. He's done okay in Serie B. He's all right in Serie A as well. He's not been sensational, but he's been decent. Samuel Ballet is a fantastic winger as well. I think when did we start this? It would have started at Como, I believe, in this game. Potentially, yes, indeed. He started at Como, having moved from Winterthur. At the beginning of the FM24 cycle, he was still at Winterthur. I think it was a January move in 2000. I was going to say 2004, 2024. But he's a good dribbly winger. Again, can't really tell much at this point. Do we have dribbles on there? Yeah, so 4 dribbles per game, pretty consistently those last couple of seasons. And in the league at Midtjylland as well, but didn't play much. Maybe he's not as good as I thought he would be. But generally in all right. We've made a couple of changes. Cole Palmer has dropped to the bench. Isaac's going to start. Nuama comes back in from Mosconi as well. And Ilario Monterisi, our €30 million signing, is going to get his first start, having played a couple of under-20s games during the week to get himself up to fitness. So that's the hope. So August is obviously the best month. Why might you be saying that, Zerchel? You're saying it because it's Mrs. Crodmo's birthday. That's fair enough. That's a very, very good reason. She battled through adversity. Exactly. Right, so here we go. Let's see if we can have another performance like we had against Napoli, rather than the disappointing show against Empoli. Are we still on key highlights? I'm just going to move this up to extended. Just as we're early on in the season, we've made a couple of tweaks to the tactic. Early signs are that we're not having shots, and they are. They are having quite a lot of shots. Pot of shots from the looks of things. That's 4 shots, 0.15 xg. So Benato with the shot. It's a good save from Soriano. It's a nice free kick. What can we do? Anything from the corner here? It's going to be into Mena, beaten in the air by Baracina. Reinders collects. Reinders sends it back in. That's going to be easy for Soriano to claim. No one in the area. So from a momentum standpoint, we're doing well. But from a chance creation, we're not really doing that much. I say we're doing well. Right, at the half-hour point, we're going to... So let's cancel out of that. Not keeping the ball particularly well either. So we're going to take Be More Expressive off, but make everything a little bit more direct into the last half hour. And then we'll probably look to change up to the more narrow approach in the second half, potentially. So Crodmo, can we do a mini game that you're good again soon, please? I'm used to challenging for honours at the top of the table rather than the disciplined relegation battle. While some Viking runs off with it, Zerachel has started well. Talking about starting well, it's not the start, is it? It's 37 minutes in. We demanded more, and the players responded by conceding immediately. Oh dear, we know what this means. Right, Profundi doesn't get a good purchase on his header. Ballet now. Feeds Melon over on the right-hand side. He fires in. Caprile beaten at his near post. Thank God he's leaving, eh? Thank God he's leaving. Right, a highlight 2 minutes later. Here's Yuri Bass. Finds Cabral. Loses out though to Rocha. Rocha Mena now. Theo has space in front of him. Cuts inside. Plays it across to Monterisi. Reinders. Nuama. It looked from distance. It's first time shot. Decent purchase, but never going on target. I see he's a little disappointed there. Mickey Mellon, isn't he retired? Nice melons. I see what you did there. Welcome in, Hung Min. How you doing there? Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. We simply have to be better. That means we'll pop into the version with 3 strikers. I think I'm going to swap Nuama and Isaac around now. Rocha on that yellow card is a bit of an issue. So he's going to make way for Kajuste. We are, once again, we're going to just... we're going to keep the passing down. We're going to just increase the tempo. Still in our mid block, right? Yep. Let's... we don't need to say anything to Kajuste. He's looking motivated. Let's see if we can respond in the second half. Right, Benato to Monterisi. Here's Kajuste. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to commentate. This is just the kickoff highlight, right? Much is going to happen. Rich Son, wait until Andorra versus England tomorrow. It promises to be a thriller. Oh, doesn't it just? Doesn't it just? So Sarah Chul, you need your advice. Do you watch the Norway-Italy game, or do I just concede defeat and watch something fun instead? I mean, that's a fair question. I think it's worth watching. I mean, it's a free hit, right? You know, you go into that game expecting to lose, so you can't come away disappointed, but you might. There's that small chance that you end up coming away feeling really, really good. Right, Nuama. Come on, we've got to do something now, guys. Nuama loses out to Vale. Gets it back again. Finds Profundi. Profundi drives to the box. Folds it in. Oh, great clearance. Benato was waiting. Reinders now. Monterisi from distance hits the bar. And Sampdoria get it clear. That's a little bit better. Not much better. Now at the hour mark. Right, dropping that down so that we have a little bit more. There, we're going to focus play through the middle because that's where our players are. Zanotti's coming on for his debut. Carl Palmer's going to replace Nuama. And Carmona. Yeah, and we'll chuck Carmona on as well. Isaac had that one chance. Wasn't bad, but otherwise haven't really seen him involved at all. A little bit, maybe around the 75th minute, we'll go to the back four instead. Are we going to concede? Constantelius with the corner. Swings it in, near post. Ballet wins the header. Ballet looking quite surprisingly white as a player model. Constantelius, another set piece. Sends it in. Haruski gets it clear. Hesuki even. Benato to Carl Palmer now. Like he's got Kajuse there. He can't find the pass initially, but he does eventually. Comes through. It's another good interception at the back there for Sampdoria. Baracina gets it clear. It's a couple of good balls into the box, cut out at the last minute, but still not really enough from us. Zanotti stings the fingertips of Juan Soriano, pushed over. Disappointing so far. ZZZ, just like watching a Musterman stream. Exactly. Benato swings it in. Kajuste's the target. Palmer gets the goal. That's what we needed. That is what we needed. Boom. That's hopefully the tonic for us to now mount a comeback. Steal it off their feet or concede immediately. Here's Vale. Finds Constantelios. Constantelios down the left. Sends it across. Villar gathers. Sends it back out wide. Okay, Sampdoria now. Passing the ball around. Villar has space. Finds Ballet. Shots blocked behind for a corner. Right, let's fire these guys up after that go. Welcome in, FM Console. How you doing, my dude? Lovely to see you. Yes, not too bad. Not too bad. How are you, my man? Right, so where's our boy DMB tonight? We don't have enough Scottish representation. The night is still young. The night is still young. Right, yeah, so that's the wide version, isn't it? Let's load the narrow version. Let's have that pace up there. Do we push both these guys forwards as well? They're attacking more down the... So let's push Hernandez up. So that's the side where Benato is going to do various things. More likely to drop deep. Push him up there. We've got just the one substitution left. I don't think we're going to... Yeah, let's get ourselves back. Focus play through the middle. Into the last 15 minutes. Into the last 10 minutes or so. Collado with a free kick. Collado into the wall. Gets it back again. Collado turns inside. Here's Baracina. Hashioka forced to go backwards, and that's the highlight. Come to an end. And those changes were a bad decision. I'm switching back immediately. Right, Reinders is going to take the more defensive. Actually, we're going to bring him off, and we're going to bring on Siklic for that. Do we do it on the wings? So where do we step forwards here? We can either push these guys into midfield, or we push these guys up higher. That's what I'm thinking. Let's do that. See how we go. And we're in the stands. We are. I mean, it's the one problem with the well, it's a problem with that vertical scrolling camera. There needs to be I so would love for us to have a free camera that we could do, like, move around and do stuff with. Here's Zanotti to steal it late on. Again, it's the second time he's forced to save out of Soriano, and it goes behind for a corner, which Hernandez will take. Hernandez, left-footed, going to swing it in probably somewhere to that middle of that goal where Siklic doesn't really attack it, but it comes to Bonato. Palmer at the edge of the area, fires into a wall of people, and it's clear for the time being. We don't deserve to win, let's be fair. So, I mean, 1-1 is probably a fair result. If we lose, that's probably not something we can complain about either. As Bonato stands over a corner with 2 minutes left of injury time. He's going to swing it in again to that area in the middle. Menya can't get there. It's going to once more come only as far as Palmer. He plays it across to Cajuste. Cajuste now trying to find space, can't force the pass down the line, and Chittle gets it back all the way to Soriano. Okay, Baracina, no pressure on him as we play in that mid-block. Here's Vale, finds Constantelios. Constantelios, can you find Collado? He can. Collado plays it back. Constantelios is in behind. Constantelios puts it over. That should have been 2-1. Should have been 2-1. FM console has a face that looks like you've been punched by Mike Tyson. Oh dear. Had a stroke or dental surgery. Take your pick. You look bloody awful. What happened, my dude? What happened? We're shit. That was a very, very bad performance. After the last couple of games where we were really, really good against Napoli, we were good against Empoli but didn't score. That's a bit disappointing to start off the stream with what was just a very, very poor performance. Hopefully we can bounce back though. I think our next game is at home against Roma. So that will hopefully dig us out of a hole. 6 days time, we'll get these guys rested up. Actually, what are we expecting from Roma? Generally, we're expecting a 4-2-3-1. So actually, maybe it's time to rock out the 4-3-3 and see how that goes for the next game potentially. So it's just really swollen. You think it's sinus infections. I get them once a year. Feels like, but it's a lot worse than you usually get. Well, I hope it gets better. I hope it gets better soon. Ryan's in. Welcome in, my dude. Welcome in. How are you, sir? How are you? Well, DMB hasn't bothered showing. Crudmo, I mean, it's all good. It's all good. I think he did send a message actually earlier saying he hates us all now. That's what happened. Sherbs is in. Welcome in, my dude. How are you, sir? You've just mended your jeans while watching the clinic. That is a very, very. I mean, I was gonna praise you and say that's awesome. That's a great skill to have. It depends what you mean by, because like there's a difference. I mean, if you've sewn your jeans back together, that is sensational. If you've like just stapled something up because it's just a little bit loose and frayed, I'm probably not going to be quite as effusive in my praise, but still very cool nonetheless. Hungerman, a draw to start the season, a draw for the 3rd game of the season. Well, we've played 3 games, 2 draws so far. So FM console, you just woke up like it. That's always alarming, isn't it? Oh, welcome in, Coatiba. Lovely to see you, my dude. Lovely to see you. Throw water bottle. Indeed. We probably should have done. Fair enough. If it's contempt, that's fine. Contempt is the only way that you should react. Console, annoyingly, you have a massive video to do. Passed all the information on to Sai Maggio, but I have another massive one to do before everyone gets on the negative bandwagon. That sounds something to. Are you allowed to give a little insight into what that might be? So there we go. Arthur Newman is a new scout. Cool. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. I mean, it's just he's a recognizable name. So we will now see. Do we have the Eredivisie? We do. Let's add him onto this assignment. So we're going to have 2 there. That's beautiful. Double the coverage now. So draw. Who do you think will win tonight? Norway or Italy? A fair question. I mean, I should probably leave that up to Zerachel. Who do you think's going to win? I'd assume Italy would win. But there's got to be a time, like Norway have a remarkably talented squad. Remarkably talented squad. You know, it's not just Haaland or Erdegaard, Naipan. You've got Ryerson back there as well. I don't know how many of them are actually in the squad, that being said. But they've got some very, very talented players. And it's got to click eventually at some point, right? Some point it's got to all come together. It's an absolute travesty that they failed to qualify for the last Euros. Sherbsy sewn them back together. 2-inch rip down the nuts. Incredible work. In both senses. Incredible in terms of fixing them. Incredible that your nuts are so heavy that they've managed to rip your jeans open by 2 inches. That's something to be proud of. So Ryan didn't even know there was international football on. Scotland are playing Iceland tonight. Oh, you say that in the very next comment. Yes, Scotland are playing Iceland tonight. Big game. So console, it's a working title is Everything Everywhere All at Once. What I already know about FM26. Fair enough. Sounds good. Zerachel reckons it'll be a 1-0 Italy win after a low XG game and a fumble goal. I mean, that does sound very Italy, let's be fair. So console, it's basically a compilation of every single rabbit hole you've been down so far. Awesome. So Coritiba's watching the Volleyball Nations League. Didn't even watch Brazil versus Ecuador yesterday. What was the Brazil-Ecuador result? I'd be honest, because that was... It's quite late for... It's an evening game, right? So I think it started at about 1 a.m. over here in the UK. I haven't checked any news or sites at all over the last couple of days, to be fair. So FM console, and do you know how many holes I've been down? Sherbs has got in there already. That's what he said. So Ryan doesn't watch Norwegian football often, but the little I've seen, I feel like Naipan is so overhyped. Looks a good talent with a high potential, but not to the extent on which people act. Freddie Adu II. Wow, now that is a bold take. Naipan looks like a young lad that is certainly... He's not Lamine Yamal. I don't think anyone thinks that he's a star already. But he is remarkably tidy at everything. He gets about, he's decent defensively, quite comfortable and tidy on the ball, reasonably good in terms of being creative. He can carry it, he can ride tackles. He's got a lot that's good, but you want him to improve in all those areas rather than, say, a player like Mikey Moore at Tottenham, for example, who's already an exceptionally good and confident dribbler. And he just needs to improve, like he needs to bring the baseline up of everything else, but he's got something he's already elite at. I feel like Naipan is someone who's got a strong baseline, but doesn't stand out in any way. Well, Zerachel says it's correct. Broholm is way better, but older. I mean, older. I mean, that's standard. You should expect older players to be better, right? Surely. A draw next week, the big match between Ronaldo and Lamine Yamal. It's really like I'm not a Ronaldo fan. I think that's been established. But it's nice to see, like, as his career is going on, he is starting to end some of those less liked streaks. So the fact that he's finally scored a goal against Germany, that's quite a nice touch. That's really fitting. It should be a good game. I think Portugal versus Spain always has potential to be an exciting matchup. So, granted, most of your opinion is based off when Hearts played Rosenborg. I mean, based on one game, does seem a little harsh. FM console, you've also been offered an allotment. Oh, very nice. Very nice. I mean, you know you're getting old when you're getting offered allotments. Was there any preamble to this console? Was it or did just like a random stranger walk up, knock on your door and just go, would you like an allotment? Because I quite like the idea of that. Right, Caprile to be sold. 54 million. We've got two. I'd like one of these players to agree now. That would be handy. We've got however many hours left Oh, the transfer closing window closes on the Wednesday, not the 31st. That's all right. A home game. We're going to work on our in possession stuff. Yeah, we'll have a new goalkeeper for it, which should be fun. Socoratiba, Vinny Jr. is washed in the Seleção. I'd rather see my goat Igor Pacquiao down the wing. I mean, that's understandable. That's understandable wanting to see. Can't you try one of them on the right? You know, who needs Rafinha? Oh, I suppose you don't want them to stand in the way of Anthony, though, do you? You know, everyone loves Anthony. Quadmo likes a strong baseline. Mark King or Geddy Lee, perhaps. None of that Mark King nonsense. Slap it, stop trying to show off. Just play good fundamentals. I'm such a boring bassist. Broham scored a Naipanenka penalty last week. Isn't Naipanenka such a... It's so satisfying to say, right? Right, so Ryan, it's all right. Your 2 games against Hearts and few you've watched on the dodgy stick is backed up. That's all you need. All you need. Right, so we do take part. Let's do an ask about interest. No one's there. That's now taken off the interest that was already there. That was probably a stupid decision. Let's say 25 mil. As much wages as we can cover. And then it's just those goalkeeper deals to get over the line. If we can sell Bajic as well, actually. That's the other player that we're looking to get rid of. None of that news is particularly key. Oh, Rocker got goal of the month. He deserved. That was an absolutely incredible goal in the last stream. And where's the other player? It is Stefan Bajic. Again, we'll try with this one first, just in case. And then we will try offer for nothing. Now we'll let that run as it is. So draw, if there's a lesser known Norwegian player that you really like, it's Berg. He's a master in corners and free kick situations. An absolute legend in Football Manager as well. I mean, like he's really, really, really good mentals, I think is the main thing there. Offers for Nico Gonzalez. Could be persuaded during contract talks with Juventus. So let's once again say, hey, go join them. We will accept all the offers. Please. Please. Just one. Right, Atabolo agrees to sign. We've got 11 hours left, so I'm not going to... I can't delay it. So Atabolo comes in. Cambadio we withdraw from. I'll be honest, I've had it before with FM24 where transfers that are bid like only a short while before the window just don't go through at all. So I was very, very nervous going into this. So Atabolo is our new goalkeeper. We need to get him registered. That's cool there. No offers for Bajic. That's absolutely fine. So Ryan feels that Holm at Celtic looks a decent prospect, and he's called Odin, which already gets plus points. Odin Holm is an amazing name, absolutely. So Console, you live round the corner from an allotment and know a fellow dog walker. He's telling me all about it. There's like 6 within walking distance, quite sizable. Already has rhubarb trees for £20 a year. Can't go wrong. Can make scrumpy cider too. That sounds glorious. Oh, fuck off, Nico. Again, Nico Gonzalez rejects contracts. Right, we are now in the let's make absolutely no money out of this deal whatsoever phase. His contract pays out around 19 million a year. Oh, wait a second. It pays out 18.5 million a year. So if we're giving half that, we're actually only paying out 9 million. Let's try at 15 and see if teams somehow will then use that to offer him enough money, or if he can reject it once again, the bastard. Ryan, did we put selling team wage contribution in? I didn't put it in with Bajic because we're offering him out on a free. I did put the maximum selling contribution for Nico. We've been doing that as much as we possibly can. Sadly, it's not worked so far. Josh, welcome in. You're new round here. Watched a few videos over the last week. I love the idea. I have zero idea what stats I'm looking for per position. Could you help me? I can't give you the answer, but I can tell you how to do it. Look at your tactic. Look at just one position on your tactic. So we'll do it here with an example. We've got a wing back at right back. Let's look at a wing back. What do I want my wing back that I'm asking here to cross more often, dribble less to do? Well, I want him to cross. So I want to look at things that show crossing. Maybe cross completion would make sense there. I'm going to have them defending in the wide areas against a winger, so they need to be good at one-on-one tackling. So tackle win rate is something I'm going to value there as well. So I'd start off by looking at very, very simple basic. Ask yourself, when you're looking for a player, what do I want them to do? Simple as that. And then you will be able to find a metric that corresponds. Now, we're only 3 games into the season, so this pizza chart isn't particularly useful right now. But I can look here, 75% tackle win rate. That's a place we can start. I'll look for players with a higher tackle win rate. Now, I want crosses that are going to result in chances. So you could look at cross success rate. We will pop over. In fact, do I have it here? Open play cross rate. Currently, he's got 25%. I then look above 25%. But I can also look at expected assists at 0.222, so maybe above 0.2. Just do that one by one, small chunks. Yeah, so that's generally the approach. Console's favourite Norwegians, Fjortoft and Tore Andre Flo, and obviously Stig Inga Bjornby. Not the other Flo then, not Joe. Not Joe Flo and the role that is specifically built for him. Magna Josef's a fine mention as well. No wonder Crabmo would go for a wanker in a blue shirt. It's a specialty. It's a specialty. Welcome in, Ulems. How you doing, my dude? Lovely to see you. How's your week been? Crodmo, now you see, if I discipline you for this, you will get the punishment. How's that fair? I mean, who said anything about being fair? Ryan, Smashburger and Case of Monsters here. Win in the chats. Nice. So as I've mentioned before, I live in the middle of nowhere. That's my choice, my mistake, you might say. And as a result, it means there's very, very little offerings around here in terms of takeaways. We've got an Indian, we've got a Chinese, we've got a couple of like kebab places, a couple of chicken places, we've got a Domino's pizza. Recently a proper burger place appeared up on Just Eat or Deliveroo. I hadn't ordered for a while. I hadn't used those apps for a while. So they had like a good 300-400 reviews. They're all looking really, really good. Ordered myself just a simple cheese and bacon burger, and it might have been the worst burger I have ever tasted. It was worse than the kebab shop burgers, worse than the chicken shop burgers, worse than the worst burger you've ever tasted. Everything was just like pure graininess. It was like the cheese was like completely and utterly, it didn't really have any flavor. It was just kind of like this weird feel of coldness. The bacon was tough. The bun hadn't been toasted, so it was just all mushy and nasty. I was so excited that there was finally a proper burger place that I could order for takeaway, and it was just everything that is wrong can possibly be. I had about 4 bites in total. So I hope your smash burger's better than that. Right, let's one last try to get rid of Nico. If we can't, I suppose he's going to be in the squad, because if we're paying him, we might as well make use of him, even if he's right on the fringes and barely gets any minutes. It's a 4-3-3 again, hung them in. This is part of the whole suites as we went through in the last one. It's all basically worked from the same thing. The 3-4-3 is a 4-3-3. They're doing exactly the same thing, just defending in slightly different areas. And then we have the same approach with the those up front, and we have a version here with those guys up front as well. So everyone loves Norwegians because we're blue-eyed, blonde, and generally awesome. I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm not going to disagree with you. I can't say that I love you because of being blue-eyed and blonde. I'll be honest. But generally awesome. I will give you that. Young boy orgs, can I see what scouting recruitment focus you have so I can copy, lol, please? The scouting recruitments are very straightforward, young boy. So we do competitions, 1/2 star, 1 star, everything. That's it for everything. The way I play here, I don't have player search. That's disabled, right? So my priority is just getting players scouted at all, and then we can use data to filter down through them. So I don't know how useful that's necessarily going to be. Nico has rejected. He had another offer. I've already criticised conduct. Why can't there be a please fuck off button? Ah, well. Ah, well. So, Cartiba, you like Norway's 2024 Eurovision entry? They finished last in the final. I don't remember their 2024. I remember that because they opened 2025, didn't they? And that I didn't think that was great. I only watched the final though, so it may have just been the nerves of the situation. It wasn't a particularly good performance. Here we go. A bid from PSG at the last minute. Surely PSG will take him. It's 11 o'clock though. Is it too late? Is this going to be like the ultimate last minute troll? Oh, please don't tell me the window's closing. Where is it? Where is it? Transfer window. Get in! Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I have never been so happy to sell someone at like 1/5 of their market value. What is his market value? Oh, it transfer has it all going all the way down. If I go to unspecified, it says 30 million. 30 million years. We sold him for 1/3 of his market value. And I'm a salty little bitch, right? I'm a salty little bitch. So let's make a parting comment. And it's going to be is there not an option to say you're a dick? There needs to be an option to say you're a dick. So we're going to say you've shown a lack of respect to me in the club. Frankly, I think we'll be better off without you. We are going to be truly mean-spirited. So, Crommo, this burger sounds more than disappointing. It was so disappointing. So disappointing. Ulems is doing great. Didn't know you were live today, but that's on me. Got my dates wrong. I mean, always blame me. Always blame me. So we're live tonight. We're live tomorrow as well. So because we weren't streaming on Wednesday, we're going to do a Saturday stream instead. Nico is gone. Our squad is now... Can we just add all of them? Apart from the under-21s. The players that we don't need to register, we don't register. And I think we should be exactly the right number of players. In fact, we can add them as well, and that's our 4. We've still got 1 spot left. Let's do that. Squad registration, that's all cool. There's our 24-man squad. Marvellous stuff. So Ryan, trust me, it's class. Just so spenny though. Thankfully got paid so I can enjoy a decent scram. That's the important thing. When you just get paid, that's when you need to have your treat weekend to start it off. Hungdamin, is Diamante diamond in Italian? It is indeed. It is indeed. Wow, Zoachal has decided to out himself as being of a very, very questionable position. But I mean, they're getting bold nowadays. I'm afraid, Zoachal. I think we've got to punch you now, right? That's how it works, right? Koatiba, Norway's 2025 song was mid. I think you are being very, very polite there, but yes, I agree completely. Right, Benato, let's get Palmer back in. He got that goal, which obviously helps us a lot. So in this system, our defensive midfielder would... No, that's not what I want to do. What did I do there? I did that. I'm going to have Kaju stay in there, Rocker there, Monterisi onto the bench, Noah Atabola goes straight into the starting lineup. And that should be good, I think. Right, we have a break coming up in 2 minutes. So we will have that break before ending the game. No points starting, just into it. So let's catch up a little bit on chat there. So 25 was bad, 24 was okay. It's from your town. But to win Eurovision, you need to be a special type of pop these days. But the shows are fun. Yeah, it was very, very forgettable, I think is perhaps the best way of putting it. Yay, Nico finally leaves. Let's go. Don't click the wrong thing at the 13th hour. Isn't it great? Isn't it great? The UK has been shit at Eurovision for a long time. Yeah. It's that the entire of Europe utterly hates us. And with very good reason. I mean, yes, but also, like, we, apart from in Spain, and maybe a little bit of France, Brits aren't particularly good at moving abroad and integrating with other cultures, which means that there isn't the diaspora vote there either, or anything to give a positive view of ourselves. And the songs are shit. The songs are shit, which is the other big point, really. Cesarichal loved the Swiss, or was it French getting 0 points after like 200 points from the jury? I quite liked the Swiss song. It was forgettable. I mean, I can't remember it now. But at the time, I thought I can understand how the jury gave it points. And I can also understand how the public gave it none. Right, let's head on that break then. I will see you guys in about 3-4 minutes, and then we head on into the Roma game where we will turn things around, or lose again, or lose, probably lose. See you then. We're back. Zerachul has redeemed a minigame, so we're about to play a little bit of bingo. There's a link now in the chat if you want to join along. The way it works is every single player gets a unique bingo card with 16 squares on it. Those squares have like clubs, countries, players. We then all get the same list of 60 players, one after the other, and we've got to work out which squares they match. Once you click a square, it's locked in, you can't undo it, you can't put another player in there. We'll give it like a couple of minutes to let people sign up, and then we'll head into it. In the meantime, let's continue talking Eurovision. So there's some love for Sweden song, Bara Bara Bastu Bastu. I didn't like it. I'll be honest, it felt very like it's a fun song, that's fine. But it didn't seem like it was anything new or interesting. But then I'm a weirdo. I like Latvia's weird, like, axolotl girls singing with the amazing harmonies and all these lovely, like, rhythms going on and weird and wonderful vocal lines. So what do I know? What do I know about music? Let's be fair. Iceland has scored against Scotland. Oh dear. It's in Scotland as well, isn't it? Oh, that's bad. And Norway is still 0-0. Incredible how Italy has become bad. I mean, it's only 10-15 minutes though, right? There's plenty of time for you to throw it all away. Cortiba, surely a backline with Hanley and Tierney wouldn't concede in the first 10 minutes. He's the fair point. A keeper came off injured as well. Oh dear. There's a whole issue, isn't there, with like all of Scotland's goalkeepers are super old. Super old. And there's not many that seem to be coming through. So that's a bit of a shame. Sherbs is not a fan of Eurovision. Kvobmo is not a fan of Eurovision. Cortiba, so basically everything Sweden sends. That's also a fair point. Norway, Sorloff has just opened the score for Norway. Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. Welcome in, by the way, JX Low UK. Thank you very much for the follow. McCrory is the only young one. That's the guy. I can't remember names. Cool. Tierney almost fucking it again. Oh dear. Oh dear. I mean, it's at least Iceland have history in the Euros. At least, you know, this is a good team. 10 years ago or so. Right, we're ready to start. So we're going to start the game of bingo. I'm clicking start now. So check your browsers and make sure you're around. As per always, I will take the first few guesses slowly so that I don't get ahead and give you a little bit of a sneak peek into who's coming up. I can't take it quite slowly enough, however, to stop giving Zerachul some information ahead of time. So, you know, that's just one of those things we kind of have to live with. I missed the... and when I'm talking, sometimes it means I'm not paying attention. And when I'm not paying attention, we end up with situations like that where I don't play anything in time. I'm still going to play things in time, just right at the end. So we've got Branislav Ivanovic now. It's a shame as well because Mbappe would have been a great one for Monaco. Gabri Vega. Gabri Vega's the one at Palmeiras, right? At which point, I don't think I know other than Palmeiras, to be honest. Levi Colwell. He can... I don't think he goes for any of those, so we'll let that one go. Rayan Cherki. Has he officially moved to Man City yet? I suppose that's the big question. Because that would have been a good opportunity to play that one, but I don't think so, so we'll let that one scoot on by. We will play Conor Gallagher at Atletico. We've got Mikhail Oyarzabal now. Sociedad man through and through, so we'll skip there. Otavio. I know nothing about Otavio. Well, I now know he was born in February. Yeah, we'll let that one run through. Yuri Zhirkov has played for a lot of teams. I could believe that Zhirkov has at some point been was he at Anshi perhaps? Or Ruben? I'm sure he ended up... wait a second, they're both Russian clubs. That's not Turkey. I'm good at this. And here's the man of the moment. Here's the man of the moment, Zerachul. It's Alexander Sorloff. Incredible stuff. It's like it's listening in. Right, I can play Kulu for Tottenham. Not any of the other ones there. Go with Nicolo Barella. We can play him for Italy, surely. Does he match any of the others? I don't think so. Esteban Cambiasso, a great player. Great player. Was he at Real Madrid at the same time that Ronaldo was at? Let's go with it. Let's go with it. I mean, they both moved around a lot, so it's probably very unlikely, and that was a stupid decision. But I'm good at stupid decisions. That's like my specialty. Now, Diego Milito. We will let him go. Damien Duff. That one can run as well. Lucas Vazquez. Don't think he matches any of those. I'm probably wrong. So Doku for Belgium or Guardiola? Let's go with Belgium. Didier Drogba. Has he ever won the golden? He's only ever like I don't think he ever. I'm gonna say he didn't. I'm going to leave that one. I feel like he's the kind of player who only ever scored like 15 or 16 goals in a single season. But he was just consistently always scoring over the course of many. That's the thought process there, even if it's potentially very, very wrong. Right, Euro Hato, the Netherlands. I can feel confident with that one. Paulo Ferreira. I'm not going to talk about him being responsible for Greece's open goal in the Euro 2024 just because I see it as, oh, what a shame, I've already done it. Robert Huth, I'm going to skip. Sofian Amrabat, I'm going to skip. Fabian Barthez surely won the Euros. Isco, going to skip. Marco Verratti, going to skip. Alexander Lacazette's a skip as well, I think. Well, I'm going for it anyway. I'm going to skip it regardless. Pierre Kalulu. I'm not feeling anything much on that at all either. Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting. Why isn't Stoke up here when you need him? Joel Matip. Oh, I'm not liking any of these. Not liking any of these. Ledley King. We're down to 25. Archie Gray. Yannick Carrasco. I feel like he was at Monaco at one point in his career, but that might just be me panicking because I haven't clicked on anything for a while. Accompanied with Guardiola. Gordon with Everton. That's feeling better now. Kieran Trippier, we're going to skip there. Ashley Young for Aston Villa. Marco Materazzi. Milot Rashica. Angelino. Bertie Traore. Eric Abidal. We're down to 13 and we need 3 more options. I don't feel like that's going to come anytime soon. Luis Figo. He won't have scored enough to have won the Champions League or European Cup Golden Boot, surely. Thomas Kuszak. Nemanja Vidic. Thierry Henry for England. Robin Van Persie for Champions League. Probably should have ended up being the other way round, but oh well. Lionel Messi. We're getting good ones now, and my panic is completely wasted. We do have Michael Owen at the end there. That feels a little bit better. Crudmo fucking bollocks, ruined it with one answer. Cortiba's ball knowledge is so off. Should stop focusing on engineering. I mean, I definitely don't stop focusing on engineering. I mean, that's far, far more useful than any of this knowledge. So Sherbs thought you were on for bingo and it was only 8. Oh, that is rough. But we do have a bingo. Once again, draw comes in hot with a sensational 16 out of 16. We already know that Crudmo got one wrong. He mentioned that. But so did Roman and Fuller FM. So sensational there. 15 out of 16. Great, great work. Potato is joint here with that's first, second, that joint 5th with Sebi. Sensational work. Then we've got Coritiba and GNG. We're doing well. That's doing well. Now we do have a Zeratul to wait for. But we will, what I'll do is we're going to head on over to FM and I'll check back on the scores. I'm sure Zeratul will update us as well on what he manages to get. So let's press the right button there and head on back. And so Hickey is back after being injured for 2 years. Your only decent right back. That's good to hear. Although, does it not say a lot that your only decent right back is a left back? Right, Palmer, Nuama, Benato, Reinders, Kajust, Rocker. Atabolo will obviously get the number 1. That's absolutely fine. Let's get this turned around. We're going to win this game. It's going to be good. So Ireland have scored against Senegal. That's quite cool. Roman, you almost had bingo, but for some reason you just assumed Neymar won the Copa America and the next player was Messi. Oh, that is frustrating. Isn't it always the way it turns out as well? Always the way it turns out. What on earth do you mean we're doing well and we're on a good run? We've just drawn against Sampdoria and Empoli. Well, I'm saying no pressure. I'm going with the entirely different tact of just saying, okay, it's all right. We can do this. No reason to panic. A difficult game against Roma. We do expect this to be, well, I say difficult game against Roma. Actually, this is a game we should expect to win. They got relegated. So they've just come back up from Serie B. We should be winning this actually, and relatively comfortably. But then I would have said that about Empoli and Sampdoria as well. So, you know, what do I know? So didn't know he was being played at left back at Brentford. Was a right back, fair enough. Draw says that Bringo is such a fun game. You would say that, but it is a fun game for one, and you are ridiculously good at it. Benny's in. Welcome in, Benny. How are you doing, my man? Lovely to see you. How's your week been? Now, if you guys aren't following Benny, you most definitely should do. And there's a lovely little chance to do that right now. Do it. Do it right now. So medical car, Wales are still drawing with Liechtenstein 24 minutes in. But what's happening in the game that everyone cares about? What's happening in Luxembourg versus Slovenia? Actually, that game might be over now. It's coming to the end, isn't it? Was it a 6:30? It might have been a 6 o'clock kickoff. That's the important one. So Casey McAteer with Ireland's goal. Nice. A Cortiba put on a French courtroom drama, you know, a fun and relaxing Friday watch. I mean, everyone finds their own ways of relaxing, and if French courtroom dramas do the trick, who am I to judge? Right, we've had a couple of chances early on. That opportunity for Profundi on his weaker foot, probably the best of the bunch. Here's Cajuste now. Theo. They're down to 10 men whilst Conte's off. Bonato's in behind. Oh, we've hit it again. It's the third time we've hit the woodwork so far. I have incidentally taken woodwork. Cajuste! There we go.
Take that away from me.
Right, that's a little bit better. So we're very much in control here. 63% possession. We've had virtually all the shots, but we do want to have more than just a 1-goal lead realistically against the newly promoted side going into half time. So can Cajuste do something here? Cajuste with a curler. It's a lovely tip round the corner from Safanov there. And from the corner, can we do anything? They have had to bring off Conte. That injury has resulted in a change. Hasuki gets in. There we go. We've only got one song.
Take that away from me.
It might be set pieces and set pieces alone, but they're goals, and that's what matters. Here's Arnis, though, looking to pull one back, fires it into Menya, and we get it clear. Palmer to come away with it, doesn't do anything. Just over 0.1 XG per chance, that's kind of okay. We'll probably increase the tempo in the second half, as we've had a lot of... Oh, Bonato!
Take that away from me.
So Benny, it's been a roller coaster of a week. Is that a good roller coaster or a bad roller coaster? I mean, generally I expect it to be up and down, so it's been both, but you know, sometimes that can mean lots of just highs and then some normality rather than always having to drop down. So I hope that if it has been bad, that there are things going in the right direction. And how am I? I'm all right. I'm very, very tired. I've spent the last 2 days not sleeping much as I push to get today's video out, which I'm very, very proud of. I hope that you guys enjoy it. I think it's a really nice end to the Everton mini-series. But yeah, otherwise doing all right. So that's good. I'm happy with that. We're going to keep with being happy, but we're going to, let's say, push that tempo up. We've had a lot of the balls, so we can maybe be a little bit more aggressive with it in those regards and see how it goes from there. And so we have some more goals. It's 1-0 to Slovenia. Burkina Faso beats Zimbabwe 2-0. Very nice. Scotland have equalised. Who scored the goal? Njai was playing for Senegal. Looked dangerous. Njai is a quality player, isn't he? Isn't he just? RJ's in. Welcome in, RJ. How you doing, my dude? Lovely to see you, my man. How's your week been? How are you feeling? Got anything planned for the weekend? Here's Bafundi. Tries to curl one in at the near post into the side netting. Now, if Safanov had conceded that would have been a little bit disappointing. John Sutar scored the goal. So was it a corner goal as well? Right, here's Reinders. Reinders driving forwards. Reinders off the bar. Oh, come on. Right, Benato, can he score from another free kick? He can't. This time it hits into the wall and it'll go behind for a corner. I would like a goal in open play if possible. Benato's free kick was sexy, don't get me wrong. But an open play goal would certainly be a good sign, generally speaking. In fact, we're 10 minutes into the second half. We'll give it a little bit longer. Let's make a change. And that change is actually going to be to go fully strikerless. So we'll put Benato there. We're going to put Carmona on. Let's bring Carmona on. And I would also like to see Kovacic get some game time so he can replace. Could you stay? No, he'll replace Reinders. We'll see what Rocker is like when he's allowed to get forwards a little bit more and see what impact that has potentially. So Thomas, the Everton mini-series is so good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you very much, my dude. Ryan, much better than Hearts or Rangers, just can never stay fit. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. So RJ's watching North Macedonia, Belgium. What's the score right now? And De Kuyper just scored. What a cracking player. I believe he's been linked with a move to the Premier League in real life as well. I think there's suggestions this summer might be his move. So more changes coming up. Zanotti on. Benato to be replaced by Aktoglu. Actually, let's make all changes. Let's bring on Paolini as well. Let's just see how things go from that point there. Has Ketelaere become a proper player yet? No, not yet. Not yet, bless him. Ketelaere is such a funny player, isn't he? Because he can be he's just like, his amazing moments are so few and far between. He's got I feel like he's the Belgian João Felix. I think would probably be the best way to deal with it. Oh my, 4-3-3 dominating again. I mean, we didn't score in open play. It's worth pointing that out. We didn't score in open play, and they are a newly promoted team. But 3-0, that's better. That's what we needed. We needed a win after a couple of draws against teams we should really be beating. That is encouraging. And we didn't really give up much in the way of chances, which is key as well. Just see now, you know, we're not going to be all that goal scoring because we're using a false nine. So maybe there'll be some situations where we look to have an inside forward more regularly off that left-hand side as well, just for a little bit more penetration. But generally speaking, quite content with that. And our next game is a nice, easy match against Arsenal in the Champions League. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. And Fast still starting. I mean, who would take his place? Who is starting, in fact, I suppose? Tabasta, I assume, maybe. Unless he's starting alongside Fast. Oh my, says Zerachal. Have Norway scored a second? Hernandez is happy to stay. I mean, it's his last year of his contract anyway, isn't it? It is indeed. 34 years old. There were no offers come, but at 225,000 euros per week, his wage is more bearable than some of the other players that we got rid of. So I'm happy that we've still got him around. Oh no, the Omayo was for fast. Fair enough. Fair enough. A Brazilian Fury is in. Welcome in, my dude. I believe that Crodmo is on it, and he's put the lovely little thing up there. So if you're not following Brazilian Fury, give him a lovely click there. He's been streaming quite a bit recently. This União de Tomar save, which is absolutely fantastic, taking a team up from the bottom of Portugal all the way to Champions League glory. And if you're not interested in Twitch, I don't know why you're here right now, but also check him out on YouTube because his videos are absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. The most recent one about the ever dapper Segundo Castillo is absolutely worth a watch. So Ryan, wait, it's not Hickey. You saw number 22 at right back. It's Max Johnson. Ah, fair enough. Looks an all right prospect. So many of the golden generation of left backs with Robbo and Tierney will transfer to right backs. That's fair. So RJ, the lineup is De Bast alongside Fairs. Fair enough. Raskin, Vanaken, De Bruyne, Doku, Selemakers, Lukaku. Not the worst. Not the worst lineup, to be fair. Shit, my God, what a goal from Antonio Nusa. Really? Bloody hell. See? This is why it's worth watching the games, right? Because you had no expectations and now everything is just incredible. Now, Bajic no longer wants to leave the club. He understood that there weren't any clubs willing to offer an acceptable transfer fee. Just to be clear, his acceptable transfer fee is nothing. He is so trash that people don't even want him for a free transfer. I've got to stop being mean about these people. I know this is a game, but these are real people. And I'm sure that Stefan Bajic isn't trash in real life. He's definitely better than me, but that's not really saying much. So bring back Van Boyten or company. He's younger. That do. This is Erchel. Now they are just building you up for an epic fail when you lose against a team like Azerbaijan. I mean, the Lord he giveth, the Lord he taketh away, right? To be honest, you wish that Alderweireld and Vertonghen were still fit somehow. I mean, that's fair. That's fair, but I mean, they are now, what, 41, 38 or something like that? How old are they now? Yeah, how old are those two? Right, I'm about to duck. There we go, need another drink. Coca-Cola need to sponsor me. Well, let me mute. I still don't know why I mute opening a can. It's not exactly the loudest noise in the world. I said 36, 37. Fair enough. I thought they were older. Ryan, I'm sure you're better at eating hot sauce on stream though, so can't win them all. I mean, we all need to have our specialties, right? And mine is just putting myself into uncomfortable situations. So they're younger than us. I genuinely thought at least one of them was in their 40s. Yeah, they could still do a job for sure. I mean, at 36, 37, they'd be considered young for an Italian team, right? Zerachal used them in the FM draft. They were slow. My God, so slow. I mean, that doesn't matter, right? Just everyone behind the ball. They will defend the box well for you. Just get everyone else to run around for them. Their problem is their bodies. I mean, to be fair, both spent the entirety of their careers being injury prone, so that's no surprise, really, is it? So Chromo reckons that I'm not better at eating hot sauce on stream. Wow, that sounds like a challenge. Can anyone get us in touch to somehow... I'm not sure how that would work. I'm not sure how that would work at all, but we'll find a way. Right, we're gonna, yeah, we will focus on transition. That's absolutely fine. And then, so let's have a look at our Champions League draw, actually. So we have Arsenal, Galatasaray, Sporting and Ajax at home. So I'm guessing Galatasaray there are the pot 4 team. That's actually, this is a horrible draw, right? I don't know how these teams are getting on. Porto, Valencia, Marseille, even Molde. We saw last stream that Molde had that crazy win in qualifying, right? 7-0 against Olympiacos. They did draw the away leg 3-3, to be fair, but yeah, even Molde aren't scrubs. So Arsenal, Galatasaray, Molde, Marseille, Valencia, Porto, Sporting, Ajax. Can't say I'm a big fan of that draw, but we should still have enough about us to get through. I'm sure, right? So Ryan, how can you convince someone to agree to contract termination? I can't afford to nullify it. Didn't realise he played for Hibs, need to rid of him. So if they don't agree, there's basically nothing you can do. You can ask, and they have every right to say no. So RJ, 284 caps combined for 2 injury-prone players. That's not that bad. Yeah, but they've been playing since they were 16 for Belgium, right? And that's an over-exaggeration. But it is I suppose that is still 10 games a year between the two of them. Welcome in, by the way, Ola D. Thank you very much for the follow. Are you playing FM at the moment? If so, let us know who you're playing with or who you support. No obligation, by the way, to chat. If you don't want to, feel free to lurk as well. So Coatiba, the film you thought was French is actually Canadian. But if it's in French, right? If it's French-Canadian, surely, that counts as French. Much in the same way that everything released in America is actually English. We get to claim all the good things, but not the bad stuff. The medical car, Wales are finally ahead. It's, must just before half time, I take it. Was it a 7:45 kickoff? Zerachul, they kept it going way longer than Hazard did. I mean, most people kept it going way longer than Hazard did, bless him. He was sensational in a burst. Right, Palmer will drop him out. We will otherwise, we're going to stick with the same lineup. We'll make a couple of changes. Those changes are going to see Monterisi in. It's going to see Navarro in for Hernandez because Hernandez is old. We will also see Kari in for Reinders because Reinders is old. I think something like that gives us a nice bit of rotation without going overboard. We're up against a 4-3-3. Let's see how that goes. Ryan, put him to surplus requirements into the B team. He still won't agree. What a waste of 1.5 million. It's the way it happens. It's the way it happens. Vex, thank you very much for the follow as well. Same questions to you if you're comfortable chatting. Oh, actually, I see you have chatted this, so I'm guessing you are. Who do you support? Who are you playing with in FM? Love to know. Benny, did you see the US released their roster for the CONCACAF Gold Cup? 8 of the 23, or 30% of the squad, has come from the Philadelphia Union Academy. That's quite cool. Or is that quite cool? I mean, so brilliant for the Union, absolutely no doubt there. But do you not want? I've always felt that. What's the best way of putting this? I've always felt that the countries where a lot of production all comes from, say, 1 or 2 places, and that generally sucks up talent, and you'll find that players stunt their growth because they're not getting as much game time, and you want a healthier split, especially with something as large as USA. as someone that does not sing the national anthem, I don't know why I get so attached to the pre-game anthems quite so much. So Benny doesn't care. Like as long as a Union fan, that's all that matters. That's fair enough. That is definitely fair enough. For the French Canadian language for French speaking people is like Irish for English speaking people. Yes, it's Irish is English and French Canadian is French. I'm sticking by it. I mean, I'm not, but yeah. Zerachul, it's 3-0. It's Haaland. That is crazy. That is crazy. There's Nuama as an early chance to go 1-0 up. Heads it over. He's not known for his heading. That's kind of reasonable. So Vex, you support Rangers, but you're doing a Southampton save. Using the current database with players from 2000s to 80s also added. Oh, that's weird. That's... You must have some very, very funky squads as a result. That must be great fun. Here's Nuama. Nuama gets the goal. Dancing in from the right-hand side through a crowd of players, Nuama finds the corner. That will do nicely. There we go. Now Izzet comes away with the ball. Finds Benato. Benato driving at the heart of the defence. Finds Kari. Kari takes it first time. Can't quite get it right. Puts it just wide of the post. I mean, I say just wide. Ramsdale didn't even need to dive for it. Another Rangers fan. There's a lot of them. Musterman, isn't the UCL anthem the national anthem over there? I mean, I'd love to say it is, but you know, considering English clubs probably don't win it as frequently as would be expected for the amount of money spent by the teams that regularly compete in it, arguably it's not, as Kari fires one over. Okay, this is better. This is better. So Vexed, we're massive, says massive at tax evasion for sure. Vexed, I do. Let me introduce you to Quadmo. Feel free to ignore him. So yeah, it's nice signing players like Hamzik or a young Theo Walcott. I mean, like Hamzik, Theo Walcott, Tyler Dibbling. What an interesting lineup that would be. It's a great save from Atabolo there, earning his keep. Saka races across to take the corner. Here he is, left footer, outswinger to the near post. Inacio can't get there. Nwaneri can. Atabolo claims. Can we see it out for the last 5 minutes of the half? And just get our rest and we can come out in the second half swinging. Here's Kari. Plays it forward. Here's Nuamo again. Nuamo out to Navarro. Navarro. Did Saliba kick that at his own goalkeeper? Saliba, whatever. Reasonable game so far. We've had the better of it in terms of momentum. 50-50 in terms of possession though, or well, ball share. We can see we're getting a lot of joy down the wide areas. They've got their ball. They seem to be having a lot of the ball between their defenders. I think generally speaking, that's all right. Retro databases are very fun. Crumbo says that the UCL anthem is better than our real one. It definitely is. Brazilian Fury, it's more like a Spanish-Italian alternate national anthem. Exactly. Quadmo, ignore Quadmo. You're just getting acquainted with our new friend. Indeed, I'm just giving him the option to. It's 2-1 to Iceland. Is it? Was it a 7:30 kickoff for the Scotland game then? Is that? So is that like immediately as the second half kicked off as well? Oh dear. Well, I'm going to say that we can do better. I'm happy with the performance so far. We've talked to those guys there. We're actually going to drop the tempo though. Let's see if we can just get a little bit more control. They've had a couple of chances. They haven't caused us major trouble. We're getting the ball a lot out wide. Let's see if we can kind of just hog onto it a little bit more. Here's Saka though. Looks down the wing for Abdikov. Abdikov back inside to Saka. Saka takes a touch, sends it into the far post. Rodriguez nods it down for Ferguson, but he can't get there. Milan clear. Sorry, Kashevit clear. It says 45 plus 1. Oh dear. So yeah, actually yes, I'm being dumb. Here's Rodriguez. Arsenal have started this half well. Feeds Ferguson. It's a good save. It's a good save. Positive. From the corner, what's Saka got here? He sends it in. Saliba was the target. Inacio to the second ball. Bufundi heads it clear. Let's see how. So we've gone back to. We've increased the tempo back up to standard, but dropped the mentality down to positive. Here's Nuama now. Nuama driving forwards, takes a shot. It's a good save from Ramsdale. Would have been difficult to beat him from that angle. Here comes a free kick. Benato's take. He scored an amazing free kick in the last game. He's looking to do it again, but Ramsdale gets across. It's a great save. Great save. So Brazilian Fury, all I know about the Scottish national team mostly is that McTominay is there and Craig Gordon's the most attractive keeper in the game today. Well, there's a take. There's a take. A club our only real loser teams lose to Iceland, don't they just? Craig Gordon, the sexy goat. I'm speechless.
Milan, Rossoneri. Ain't nobody I'd rather be. Milan, Rossoneri. They can't take that away from me.
So, my question here is so Craig Gordon certainly isn't an unattractive fella. I'm not going to say that. I mean, it's a very, very smart, relatively easy on the eye for sure. But I wouldn't have pegged him as being the sexiest. Certainly not in his younger days anyway. So when he was around, 28, 30, somewhere around there, he's still a reasonable looking chap, but just not the creme de la creme. Has he got better with age? Or is it just that the standard of Scottish goalkeepers in terms of beauty is so low that everything looks sexy? Because, in fact, Vexed, I mean, you're talking about Andy Gorham in terms of the greatest ever, and that's fair, because Andy Gorham was a phenomenal goalkeeper. He definitely wasn't the sexiest goalkeeper. Let's be fair about that. But £1,000 better, 1,000% better with age and looks. Fair enough. Fair enough. Right, here's Navarro. Sending it forwards to Benato, into Rocha. Right, Kari. Kari can play out wide. Nuama's been pretty good for us this game. He feeds it into Isaac. Isaac's shot is a little bit pants. Now it's time to make some changes. Those changes are going to come in the forms of Kovacic coming on once again. Zanotti coming on once again. And up front, we're going with Carmona. So 3 changes just before the 75-minute mark, so they get a rating. And that should help their development a little bit. And then we'll look to make a couple of changes in the last few moments, which will include Nuama coming off because he's tired. So that'll be Mosconi on. Does mean he can't get his hat-trick, unfortunately. So Navarro. Is this a chance, or is this just the highlight that was going on whilst we were doing the substitution? Kajuste switches it. Iber gets there, puts it behind. Benjamin Sesko, not good enough to start for Arsenal in 2032. Benato with the outswinger. Kovacic gets there. That should have been 3. That should have been the goal. Right. Last change as well is going to be Menya off, perhaps. Let's bring off Menya and bring on Asuki. Just Menya's like the only other main starter that hasn't really had much of a rest up until now. So hopefully we won't, changing your centre backs, not necessarily the smartest idea. Here comes Saka. Saka tries to curl it in. He's not as good as Nuama. That's just how it is. It's just how it is. So there's only 2 Andy Gorhams, indeed. Vex, do I support Milan? I do not support Milan. It's just the job where it came to. We started at IFK Mariehamn in Finland. I mean, we say they're in Finland. They're an island located off the coast where they speak Swedish. Swedish is their official language. And the people that I know from there would like to be Swedish. So a nice little weird, unique location. Spent 4 years there before heading over to Darmstadt, who are in the relegation zone in the Zweite Bundesliga. We kept them up in the first season, got promoted the second. Here's Mosconi. Mosconi looking to make it 3. Ramsdale gets down to his near post, turns it behind. Got promoted in the second season. A couple of seasons in the Bundesliga, qualifying for Europe. And then we stepped down and took the Milan job. So this is our second season with Milan. Our first one, we finished second. We lost in the final of the Champions League to Arsenal. And this is our chance to finally turn things around, hopefully. Very, very pleased with that result. That is much, much better. Coritiba, the French-Canadian film, is surprisingly compelling. Fair enough. I'm a Villa fan, as Quadmo says. Draw, which player did you like more from the Italian league in the late 90s? Totti, Del Piero, or Vieri? Oh, a fine guess, but it has to be Del Piero. What are other people's thoughts on that? What are other people's thoughts on their favourite? Now, that said, Del Piero, probably one of my favourite players of all time. He definitely belongs up in that conversation. He was just so magic with the ball. But there are some other players in Italy at that time. I love Gabriele Batistuta. My favourite type of striker is Gabriele Batistuta. And so he's definitely worth a mention. What's Hernandez's issue? Feels his current asking price up. No asking price set. All right, now bugger off. You've just said that you're no longer unhappy, and now you're moaning about an abstract thing. That asking price, in fact, was the asking price he requested as well. Bierhoff as a suggestion. That'll do. That will do. Yes, I do songs for every team you're managing. A massive loser. Exactly. Incidentally, one of the reasons we only have the one song at the moment is I was going to be recording new songs today for our new squad. Unfortunately, whilst I was editing the last video, my main headphones, the ones that have much better latency and much better for recording stuff, they've died. So you've been spared. Kind of spared. It does mean that you're only going to hear one song all stream long. I don't know if that's better or worse. Benny, did you hear that right? You lost to Arsenal in the UCL final. We did. Even worse, Benny, we lost in extra time. We went 1-0 up in like the second minute. They pulled it back in the second half and then scored in extra time. It was very, very depressing. Very, very depressing. You've got to refund the game. It's too unrealistic. Quadmo goes for Totti and then Vieri. Why do you hate Del Piero? So Draw goes for Del Piero. RJ goes Del Piero, Totti, Vieri. So Vexed, would you take Grealish on loan for a season? I don't know. Like with any deal, I would be mindful. Villa have a real problem with wages. We are, in our attempts to challenge near the top, we're paying a lot of money, and we don't have the revenue to match at the moment. So if Grealish was to come back in any capacity, whether that's on loan or a permanent move, it would have to be one that is not at the same wages that he's currently on. And I'm not sure he fits what we do. Like, people have said that Pep's coached the creativity out of him, which I disagree with very, very strongly. The Jack Grealish we see nowadays is very, very similar to the Jack Grealish we saw at Villa. Jack Grealish at Villa was a player that carried the ball remarkably well, would hold it up, would win a lot of free kicks. He did cut inside a little bit more, but not massively. He often held the width. He would then wait to play sensible passes, wait for the overlap from target. He never really scored that many goals for us. Never actually registered that many assists, but that's not because he's not a good player, just to be clear. So a large part that played into that is he'd often play the pre-assist. He was very important for opening up opportunities for then someone to cross or make the final pass. So a fantastic player. I'm not sure that he plays at a tempo that would suit what we're doing now. That's my personal feeling on that. Oh no, I wanted new songs. I want new songs too. Del Piero played for Juventus, and Juventus are Blair. But he's an amazing player. That's like saying that Bruno Fernandes is rubbish because he plays for Man. Oh, wait, that is the position I hold. I don't. Bruno is a very, very good player. I just don't. He's a bit too Steven Gerrard for me. That's all. Benny, the answer is no. He's the next Raheem Sterling at the rate he's going. I mean, yes and no. Raheem Sterling at Grealish's age, only a few years ago, was scoring a crazy amount of goals for Man City, to be fair. In fact, Man City, I would argue, are the only team that ever got a good Raheem Sterling, controversially. That the way they had him playing almost as like a second striker, even if he'd start out wide, he got a lot of very, very important goals for them. And it kind of kept him away from those positions where he'd run into a blind alley. It's only once he left Man City, I would say, that it all went down very, very suddenly. So just seeing it rumoured today, fair enough. I think he needs more game time and that creativity would come back. As I say, my issue, Vex, is that I don't think that he fits the pace that we play. That's like the Grealish that we saw at Villa 6 years ago, well, 4 or 5 years ago, isn't that different from the Grealish we see now. The Grealish we saw at Villa before wouldn't fit in with the way that Villa play under Emery. That's where my concern is. It just doesn't necessarily tie into what we're doing. So Cromo, exactly the same thoughts on Grealish yourself. He's also been linked with Everton implausibly. That would be an interesting move. Is Grealish available for international loan too? That needs to be a thing. Wouldn't that make tournaments so much more exciting? If you've got people who are eligible, they can play for any nation and chop and change whenever they want. Gabidin, welcome in. Thoughts on the Ange sacking? I think that the Ange sacking was a very, very good decision. I think is probably the best I can. Wait a second. He won the Europa League, that's brilliant. But the best barometer for sustained success is being good in the league. And the last 18 months have been very, very poor. He started the season off very, very well in his first year. The first 6 months, fantastic, absolutely lightning. And it's kind of been on a downhill trajectory since then. I don't think that is a sustainable model for success. Yes, you might do all right in a cup competition where you have to play Werder Glimt and who else? They did knock out Frankfurt, to be fair. They scraped through against AZ as well. But, they've not... There's no signs after 2 years that what he's going to do is going to be sustainable. And so do you really want to be bringing in players for him after the last lot hasn't quite worked out? I think it's a sensible decision. And I hope that he gets a really, really good opportunity to maybe take that next step with a different club. Vex, oh come on, he scored some goals at Liverpool. He did score some goals at Liverpool, but I feel that when he was at Liverpool, he often stayed wide a lot more and would often do that dribbling into blind alleys thing that he became very, very well known for. Gets the ball, runs to the corner flag, gets himself caught, tries to turn back, gets tackled, loses the ball. That's his Liverpool signature move. Are there any good young players? Sorry, I was just thinking of this whilst we were talking, as I could do with looking at sorting out our future. And that future might include just looking for some players that are rated highly by our scouts. There aren't. There's 3. One of them's not for sale. 2 of them are crazy money. So that was a nice quick search, eh? A nice quick search. So you're sure Milan could buy another over-the-top English player? They like doing that. I could see him working very well in Italy, to be fair. I could see him working remarkably well in Italy. A draw. Do I think that the fact that Lamine Yamal plays so much at such a young age could hurt him later in his career? Absolutely. I think that we've seen it with players that come through and played a lot of minutes young generally. So I think it could. But at the same time, there haven't been any major signs of wear and tear yet. So there's no reason to assert that it will happen. But it's not unreasonable to be mindful or wary of it for sure. So Sherbs, even West Ham got linked with Grealish. Coritiba would take Grealish at Coritiba. So it's not you, it's me pretty much with Villa. That's fair. Evening Dilfs, non-Dilfs, there's a DM basis in. Welcome in, my dude. And thank you for the hydrate, Zoachel. How you doing, DMB? We also have Nick in as well. Welcome in, Nick. How's your week been? Vex mentioning Frankfurt in the Europa League. I mean, it was flashbacks. That's the thing. It's like Tottenham. Also, Tottenham, you can feel were kind of a little bit lucky to scrape through against both Frankfurt and AZ, which is a little bit of a not a massive concern, just a little concern, right? Right, we're going to go back with Carl Palmer up front. Sticking with the 4-3-3. Let's get those other changes back in. So Theo's back in. Reinders is back in. Juste stays there. I think we're going to give Kerem the start. Just again, make sure we've got some rotation. And again, after playing a couple of games, we've now got an ad coming up in about 3 minutes or so. So we'll probably bring that forwards rather than start the game. But let's catch up a little bit there on the chat side. So Gabardin, as a Spurs fan, I completely agree. I love him, but sacking him is pretty sensible. Ironically, I mean, I think that the Europa League final is also more of a reason to sack him, because he showed in that game that he was willing to adapt, which he didn't do at any other point during the course of the season. So when he was playing Archie Gray at centre-back alongside Ben Davies, and giving absolutely zero protection in front of them, or looking at ways to adapt to protect some of these young players from essentially being absolutely pilloried, he deliberately chose not to. You can adapt without abandoning your philosophy. So the moment, I think, I can't remember if I said it on stream or not the other day, but the moment he showed that he's able to adapt, if I was Daniel Levy, I'd be like, yeah, cool. Well done for winning. You don't even get to get the trophy celebration. You're sacked on the spot. Not quite that harsh. Not quite that harsh. So DM base, it's a rather fleeting visit. No worries. Lovely to see you. Lamar is very possibly going to be ruined within about 4 years. It's plausible. It is plausible indeed. You think Pedri will suffer in the future? And we've seen what's happening with Gavi as well. Like Gavi, the last 2 years have essentially just been a litany of injuries, which isn't a good sign at all. So it's quite warm and muggy up in Scotland, but you have just been out for an Indian. It was lovely. That does sound good. That does sound good. Can't go wrong with curry on a Friday night for sure. Undermean, you had Constantelios in your Berense save. He's not good so far. 4 assists. What should I do now? He mostly plays as a left attacking midfielder. I don't know Constantelios' attributes, so just a bit, which is a bit of a problem with judging generally speaking. But what I do remember, if we get him up here, do we have a scout report on him? Sadly, we don't. What I do remember is that I never saw a scout thing saying that he had pace. So I don't necessarily like him out wide. That's part of the reason why I liked him in central positions, because his dribbling, his flares, we were quite good. I think he had reasonable balance as well. Oh, it's agility he has. He has elite agility, as mentioned. So he's good in those tight spaces. He's good in central positions. So my thinking would be that he's better employed in a central position than he is out wide. In FM anyway. So DM basis, Yamal might be an outlier and maybe he'll just be great, but I do worry about how it'll go in the long run. And I mean, you've also got to think that he's not that much younger than Cristiano Ronaldo, so there is some precedent for players being able to do it. Not everyone's going to be Cristiano Ronaldo. Not everyone's going to be James Milner. Another player who broke, I think did Milner make his debut at 16 for Leeds? And yeah, he wasn't quite as exposed, but still had a remarkably long career. Right, okay, we've got the ad coming up. I will see you guys in about 3 minutes, and when we come back, we'll play a mystery minigame. See you then. Cool, and we're back after a little bit of admin. I do apologise for that being a little bit longer. Just a couple of bits of issues with my streamer bot there, but that seems to be sorted out. So thankfully we're all good and ready to go. And we've got a mini game redeemed, which, as Quadmo mentioned as we were going into the break, does mean it's time for Only Connect. Now, if you guys haven't been around before, let me explain how this works. In a moment, you're about to see 4 pictures of players, one after the other. They all share some kind of common connection. Your job is to work out what that connection is. The earlier you guess, the more points you get. Those points get you onto that lovely little scoreboard just beneath me there. Now, the reason why people are saying, and then guessing things like all 4 of them have teeth is because on a Friday, we're usually a little bit more abstract. But the last few weeks, I haven't had the normal Monday, Wednesday, Friday routine. So we haven't always had a particularly difficult or non-football related connection. And I can promise you that today's connection is a completely normal football related one. Tomorrow's might not be. So let's head on over to the first clue and see what we got going there. So they've all been romantically linked with DNB. They could well have been. Have they been? Would you like to tell us about your romantic tryst with Benjamin Pavard, who Quadmo has correctly identified? Quadmo doesn't believe me when I say that it's going to be football related. I assure you. Ryan, it's 3-1 now to Iceland. Oh dear. So can anyone think of anything that could potentially connect? It's very difficult with the first clue. That's why the first clue is worth most points, because you have very little to go on. So RJ's gone for right backs who scored a winner. Is it players that have all gone from Bayern to Inter? Is it players that scored a goal that was chosen as the World Cup's best goal? It's a sensational goal though, wasn't it? I mean, that's not the connection, but what a goal. Was that the opening game of the tournament as well? Or like it was the first round of the tournament or something? Just incredible. It's not Giroud, so you're not interested. That's fair. Cesarachol plays subbed off at half-time in a European final. A fine guess. Is it right backs that are actually centre backs? All played for Stuttgart. All played for Lille. All scored against a former team in the Champions League. Is it that they've all won a sextuple? They are all fine guesses, but none of them, I'm afraid to say, are right. The sextuple one would be an incredible. I am definitely taking note of that for a future round. I can't tell. It's going to have to be like months and months down the line because, you know, you might remember this conversation. Let's see what we've got for the next one there. I'm guessing people can recognise this, but if you do recognise, do pop them in chat just in case someone doesn't know. There we go. Quadmo has done the honours. So what could link Kai Havertz, or King Kai as Nick says, and Benjamin Pavard? Connections between Kai Havertz and Benjamin Pavard. So RJ, is it players who do the bird to celebrate goals? I mean, they are both. They are both doing that, to be fair. That's a reasonable shout. It's not that. Quadmo's gone for the same, but he's done it in all cap letters. So that makes it more exciting. A really shouty version. All 4 of them have their arms spread out like they're birds. It's not that, I'm afraid. And to my neighbours, I'm sorry. So they've all been managed by Tuchel. They've all played with Thomas Muller. Is it they all have the letter V in their surname? Pavard and Havertz. That's a fine guess. That's what your voice sounds like too. 100% accurate. 100% accurate for sure. So Johan even has gone for best goal at the World Cup as well. Sadly, it's not that. Have they all scored a winning goal in a match where Kante was named the best player? That's a very specific guess. We've got deciding goal or winning goal in a final. And being nominated for a Puskas Award. The old-fashioned has gone very route one there. Is it that they are both male? That is true. Sadly, that's not the connection we're looking for. Let's move on to the next clue. See if this helps at all. We've got this one, who it has to be said, old-fashioned, is also male, I think. Caveated with I think, though. Not exactly. You don't want to assume. It's a reasonable guess, but you never know. So Ulems is going to suggest that these are all people that have played in the Bundesliga. Do we have an ID? Do we have an ID for the third the third person there. We do indeed. Quadmo has said it's Valverde. And Shaq is in. Welcome in. Welcome in, my dude. How are you, sir? Are they all trophyless? I mean, they've all definitely won trophies, haven't they, right? From a treble to trophyless. I like what we've got going there. It's not that. So is it distant French heritage? All managed by Xavi Alonso? Is it that they're all footballers? Another very broad guess. And again, I mean, technically you are right, but sadly it's not. Pavard hasn't been managed by Xavi Alonso. But there we go. That's answered it for us. Shaq, you've been peeping for a while. No worries at all. It's lovely to you. If you're in a talkative mood, how's your week been, my dude? How's your week been? So everyone scored a goal in a match refereed by Antonio Lahoz. I love that as a guess as well. It's not, but I do love it. We've got professional debut in 2016. RJ has gone for all never played for Anderlecht. All worse than Nico Raskin. All played in the Champions League. Rich, who is the first player? So that was confirmed to be Benjamin Pavard. All played in Euro 2024. Those are fine guesses. We're not on the right track at all, I'm afraid, so far. And we've got one last one here. I'll wait a while. I'll wait until we get down to a few guesses on the 1 pointer to see if I need to push people in the right direction. But I do promise you it is a bog standard footballing connection. It doesn't help that I smile as I say that. I am being genuine. So this is indeed, Cromo. It is Julian Alvarez. Zerachel has gone for all played against Erling Haaland. So I mean, that seems like a reasonable thing to guess. They are all players playing in Europe at this very point in time, so it makes sense. They all have an A and a V. They do all have a V in their last name. That wasn't a deliberate thing. Pavard, Havertz, Valverde, Alvarez. There we go. And they have an A as well. It isn't that. But that is a very, very interesting coincidence given the lack of commonality of the letter V, generally speaking. Soprano has all had penalties disallowed for ridiculous reasons. There's a suggestion they're going to change the rules in light of the Alvarez double kick. Have they all been in a Champions League final? Do they all have names? They do all have names, that's true. Have they all got posters of Cyril Dessers on their bedroom wall? I bet they do. Do they all have the middle name Keithroy? Do they have a French connection? Is it a goal at the World Cup? They're all 25 years old, all have some Spanish heritage. Do they all wear French connection? Have they all scored bangers at international tournaments? These are all fine guesses. What I can tell you is think about an upcoming tournament. Think about an upcoming tournament is what we're going with. Which are they all new Sunderland signings for the 2025-26 season? That would be a pretty good summer, wouldn't it? I mean, you'd have to be pretty made up if you could get all of them. So we've got all played in a Club World Cup. Are they all going to FIFA Summer Cup shit? They'll all be playing at the Club World Cup. Wank. They've all won the Club World Cup. They've all scored at the Club World Cup. They've all won a Club World Cup. If you mash some of those together, we will get there. We'll get there. So we've got, again, they're all in. It's not that they're all in. It's if you mash almost everything together. So if you mash the word shit and wank together, the shit wank camp, I think you might get there. So everyone is going to play against their former team in the Club World Cup. That's a lovely guess. It's not that. There's an upcoming tournament. Pavard won the Club World Cup as part of his sextuple, by the way. He did indeed. Schwank. Lovely. And then Coritiba spares our blushes. It is indeed that they've all scored in the Club World Cup final. So Benjamin Pavard scored the winner against Tigres. Kai Havertz scored the second goal against Palmeiras, so that's a winner. Valverde was like the third goal, I think, so it doesn't really count. It's not a winner, unfortunately. And Alvarez scored the opener against Fluminense in the last one in 2023. So what Crobmo said, schwank indeed. Technically, you were correct in that they'd all won it. I call shenanigans. So we are always, I mean, on that same basis, DM basis, we're also, it was all correct that they all have a V in their surname, that they all have teeth, that they all are male, I think. that they all play football, that none of them have played for Anderlecht. So, I mean, cool. Right, let's head to the game against Torino. Splitting hairs, I know. 5 points for Crudmo over for the teeth, indeed. It's a Mickey Mouse Cup. I mean, there's a good chance that teams are going to be taking it very seriously with the prize money available this year. So they all scored in friendlies, cool. I mean, I imagine there are many teams involved in those finals who wouldn't have considered them friendlies. I think maybe after the game, Palmeiras might have considered it a friendly. They might have been like, "Yep, we don't want to consider this as a real game whatsoever," because 4-0 is pretty rotten. Are we going to keep on saying no pressure? We're going to keep on saying no pressure. That seems to result in them performing better from the start. So let's see. That can work. We're up against Brian Prisk's 4-2-3-1. Lamar Bogard at the heart of their midfield. Let's see how we get on. We're playing in our lovely pink, white and blue. I really like, I mean, not its representation in FM, to be fair, but I do quite like that kit. And we've got, is that Pedrola? Yes, Pedrola. I couldn't remember. I was going to call him Pedris Estola, but his name was up as whatever his first name is. I got confused. I get confused very easily. And none of them are good as Raskin. That's a fair point as well. Alvarez now on Larry Shanks. Raskin and Diamande in the middle under RM is Horny. It's going to be interesting seeing. So there are quite a few Rangers fans and Scottish fans in general in. How do you feel about the news about Russell Martin? I quite like the football that Russell Martin encourages when he's got the quality of squad at his disposal to pull it off in the league that he's in. As a Stanis is the target, Atabolo gathers it nice and easy. So I think he should do well. Obviously, it's awful when he's in the Premier League. He's completely and utterly outmatched. But I think that with the resources available to Rangers, should be good, right? Right, here we go. Come on, Nuama's the target. He gets the ball back. Plays it inside to Reinders. Here's Rocha. Rocha, can he release it? He can indeed, but it's straight at Popa and pushed over the bar. So Dan Bassist hopes he can get something from both of them. You think Raskin is off at least, quite possibly, as Ilario Monterisi opens the score. Alta Medical Cards, 2-0 to Wales. Harry Wilson with the goal. Nice. The Club World Cup is really big for Latin American clubs because beating the European feels really good. Exactly. And that's like, there was absolutely no way that you could say back in 2020 that Tigres were treating it like a friendly. The competition was dominated by the Brazilian clubs in the early years as well. But there has been in more recent years where there's a big disparity in quality because the European clubs have absolutely plundered all the talent. And you know, when you get your Brazilian clubs, your Argentinians, your Mexican clubs in the finals, as Stanis was offside, that's absolutely fine. You know, it's often one or two journeyed veterans and a bunch of young players, all of which have a lot of promise. But, you know, they're always going to struggle against a European club if the European club takes it seriously. So Vex would rather move players on than lose money like Kent and Morales. Exactly. Ryerson off the bar. Italy is still bad in the second half. I mean, could this be 4 or 5-0 for Norway? That would be crazy. DM Basis, you didn't want him. You're not convinced, but he's the manager now, so he has my support. That's a fair approach for sure. I should have done this a little bit earlier. We're going to do this with you as well. Make you a central midfielder now that you're on a yellow card. Nuamar does well. Fires it over on his weaker foot though, unfortunately. So yes, same for African clubs. We in Europe are very Eurocentric in our views of the competition and our dismissal of it. Exactly. Vex, he was outraged, but with calmer heads, I think it's a good fit. That's fair. 25 games unbeaten in the championship. Exactly. And he's done it multiple times in the championship as well. Like it's not It's not a case of getting lucky and hitting a purple patch. If he can figure out how to break down a 10-man defence, then he's going to win everything. The Scottish experience summed up there for sure. But again, we can definitely take this further. We're going to... Kari's coming on. He can go back to taking the ball winning midfield role. He's obviously not, Reinders isn't a ball winner, but the ball winner isn't there to be like a defensive player. I think Reinders runs through with the ball. Yeah, that's kind of what I want. I want someone who's just going to fly around, tackle, but also push forwards. Do we bring off Hernandez with his yellow card as well? I'll trust him for a bit. I'll trust him, not for long, but a bit. And so totally close his team down as the Bill from the back for the 73rd time. Wait for the mistake. Score, win, profit. I mean, it's like he's... when you try and do that with Taylor Harwood-Bellis and Arjnet Muric, it's going to struggle, right? Here's Nuama. Nuama with a shot into the side netting. It's 3-0. Keitha Moore. Oh my word. Wales are running away with it. And we've been graced by the glorious Guja. Welcome in, Guja. Who's just got, was it promoted to the Premier League? Did you just win the championship with Corn? Or did you just get promoted to the championship with Corn? He's currently taking over Corn. A fantastic save. Absolutely worth checking out. An absolute gentleman. Go give him a follow if you're not already. So the CWC in its current format would have been amazing in the 70s and 80s when an equal playing field. Indeed. A DM bassist, I can't speak at all. DM bassist. I seen on Reddit, I think it was that someone said he's got an 80% possession, but 1-0 to Motherwell written all over him. You'll always get games like that, as long as they're not too frequent. That's the important thing. I was confident that was offside. He looked miles off to me, right? And this is where we find out it was really marginal. Yeah. Absolutely nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about whatsoever. We are, though, pushing up the tempo, playing through the middle once more. Let's see if we can push forwards. Like Bellanova with the throw and back to Papetti. Plenty of time on the ball. They're going to send it into Fiaschini. We'll go with Fiaschini. Here's Vala Egeli, another good Norwegian. Left back there. Here's Kari to Palmer. Palmer loses out, and that's going to be his last contribution for the game. Fofana plays it out wide. They've got 2 men over, but Nuama comes back. Good defending, Nuama. Kari now. What's happening with this highlight? It's all been in the midfield so far, but maybe Nuama can unlock the defence. He drives down the right-hand side. Plays it back to Profundi. Profundi returns it to Nuama. Nuama tries to get the angle. His shot cannons off the leg of the defender and behind for a corner. And as we said, that's going to be last call for Palmer because of losing the ball there. And because he lost the ball, we're going... Let's try the double inside forward thing. Rocker's yellow card as well means we're going to bring on Asuki. And there we've got our options to switch to a back three if we need to now on the pitch, so we don't need to make another substitution for that. I think that should be absolutely fine. I say that's where things go wrong for sure. Right, Many is the target. They get it clear. Here's Navarro just on. What a substitution!
Take that away from me.
One of
Albert.
I think I'm a special one.
Albert Navarro proving I am a special one. I'm not. Perhaps a DM basis would have liked Prisk. I think that Prisk would have been a really, really exciting option. I really liked what he did in with Prague. I would have been keen to see how it went. As Profundi Oh my God, how many times have we hit the woodwork tonight? I swear, like, at least every game we've definitely hit. There's been a few games where we've hit it multiple times. Here's Egley, tries to feed it, gets a deflection. Fafana's in behind, and that's going to be a penalty. Kari just takes a nibble at Fafana's feet, and the referee is giving it. No doubts there whatsoever. RJ, you'll never understand Doku's hype. He's literally a one-trick player. I mean, as long as the trick works, right? Only as long as it works. The latest City Wings signings have been strange. That's fair. That's fair. Savio hasn't really hit the heights as Lamar Bogard sends it straight down the middle, along the ground as well. You feel like Atabolo could have potentially just stuck his foot out. And the game is back on. We will be looking to make some changes in a moment. I mean, they have now got more XG. Our chance quality hasn't been great. Here's Kari, now Profundi. Profundi takes aim, and that's over and wide. Fafana, who won the penalty, has just come off. We're going to bring on Zanotti for Profundi. And that's our last change. And just because he's tired rather than an issue with his performance. Yeah, stop the ball, push the ball, run fast. Not a trick, just go into the body. Exactly. Nuamo's from Leon, right? Always seems him going for silly money a couple of years into a save. Yes, Nuama. Like, does he start at Leicester? And there we go, Nuama's in behind. Is there a flag? There is no flag. Just right on cue. That's a lovely ball round the corner from Bonato. Nuama does the trick. Maybe there's something to Bonato as the striker. I was a little bit wary of that because he's better as a attacking midfielder, and I feel like players like Palmer can play up front better. But Nuama's done something, so that Bonato's done something, so that counts, right? Well done. That's 3 wins on a trot. That's something that we very, very much needed. So Ryan, I know this guy who moved back to Belgium who's done work with his dad that is a coach at Club Bruges. So you're wanting Ancelotti. That's fair. At DM Basis, you're popping off again. Not sure if we'll still be on by the time I get back. If not, catch you tomorrow. Have a lovely, lovely evening, DM Basis. So DM Basis, I don't get it. He's what we needed. Sounds about right, indeed. Ryan's off as well. Highland Clearance Part 2 with all the Scots going. Although neither of us are in the Highlands. It's all one and the same, right? Vex, is that your lovely monotone singing? It is indeed. It's the 3-part harmony. All 3 parts are out of tune. That's the special sauce in the bad songs. Let's get these guys rested up, and then it's Galatasaray up next. So what I am mindful of is I think once we reach the Katanzaro game, we've got almost a month. We've got that big international break coming up as well. So we've got a couple of games before that, and then we'll probably need to look at maybe some friendlies to keep ourselves fit over the couple of weeks. So there we go. Ryan, he wanted Ancelotti. Who doesn't want Ancelotti? Who doesn't want Ancelotti? I mean, you could have waited and maybe got Ange. I mean, maybe Ange would decide that he hasn't proved himself enough in Scotland and wants to show that it's him who won things for Celtic, not Celtic that won things for Celtic. And how bad would that be? How bad would that be? Vex, are you looking at any signs? Are you talking about in-game or are you talking about with Aston Villa? In-game, we've just had a transfer window close. So we're not looking at anyone at the moment. This has been a big overhaul. So we took over here, and when you take over a new club, even midway through a save, your list of scouted players is really small. Only something like 100 players or so. So we couldn't do much the first season, so we kind of made do with what we had. And making do with what we had meant that I hated pretty much every single player in the squad. So this summer we've sold Abdul Fataru, Macho Ruggieri, Beraldo, Rafa Leao, George Elena Kena, Eduardo Bove, Malik Thior, a new gen called Balieri, Nikola Milenkovic, Joshua Zirkzee, who we only signed last summer, another new gen called Venturelli, Brisky isn't a regen, Vaskovic is, Antic is, Caprile, again another player we signed last summer, and Nico. We went absolutely ham. A lot of the players that we inherited were all earning wages like around 300,000, 350,000 a week, which even though they get, like, Elena Kena was on 400,000 euros a week. Like, he's an amazing player. I'd love to still have him in the squad, but that's just crazy money. And if you've got players earning crazy money, the future players want crazy money as well. So we wanted to get that under control. Katanzaro absolutely spanking Roma. What a game that is. And Fabio Capello's playing for Roma. Federico. I mean, obviously I knew it wasn't going to be Fabio, but you know what I mean. Ange wouldn't be able to live in Glasgow. It'd be hilarious though, right? Hilarious. Real Madrid doesn't want Ancelotti. That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Rich doesn't want Ancelotti. You've got Regis. Everyone loves a little bit of Regis Libri, eh? Coritiba doesn't want Ancelotti. He's not used to Brazilian press shenanigans. I mean, I feel like Ancelotti is the perfect manager for international football, right? Because he's all about player empowerment, making sure that players know what to do, but feel the freedom to express themselves, to work it out themselves, and to make sure that they feel good and motivate. And in an environment where you have limited training opportunities, it feels like a motivator is quite a useful thing to have. Let's see what Bonato wants. Under 150k? I'm fine with that. Regular starter I'm fine with as well. Bonuses seem a little bit on the high side, but his loyalty bonus is low. 95. See if we can push that up. Yeah, just a couple of changes. So I'm happy to keep the bonuses accordingly. Will you take 5 years if we do the original deal? Nope. Right, then we'll do 4 years at 95. Wow. I did not expect him to pull out over 5k. How about we set some targets? Insist. There we go. We've let that break down, and then we've pissed him off some more as well. Just the perfect approach to doing things, for sure. So Brazil needs a young gegenpress coach to crack the whip. Oh, could you imagine how badly that would go down? That would be hideous, right? Coritiba, though, wants Bielsa at Brazil. I think he put some players in line. I struggle to believe that they'd... Like, surely all that will happen is he'll be coming up against walls every single time. This isn't the way that Brazil do things. This isn't... I mean, Bielsa's probably got enough of the... what's the Argentinian term? There's that term for the Argentinian approach to football. Kind of like how there's all the talk about relationism and all that. I can't remember what it is. Yeah, he's got that element of just that South American feel about it. So he wouldn't be as bad as, say, putting in Ralph Rangnick. But yeah, Bielsa with Brazil would be wonderfully bonkers. I reckon it would last about 3 months, if that. It would be exciting, but it would end in acrimony, surely. He was confused, now he's furious. You definitely did something. It's perfect, eh? Navex, Bonato's. I like Bonato. He's just been led astray by his agent. we'll wait until that can be resolved. And like, as I said, I'm happy as long as it's under 150k per week. So there's no major worries about going in and renegotiating later down the line. Right, for the Galatasaray game, we want to make changes again. So these changes are going to be Benato, Mosconi, Kari, Kovacic, and Navarro, and Zanotti. And Zanotti, why not? Where is Zanotti? There we go. Loads of changes for the Galatasaray. That's 2 players not quite at fitness. So we'll go with Rocha back in. So what are the changes here now? When we look at this, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 changes to the starting lineup. Maybe a little bit more than I'm comfortable with. So let's go with Palmer up front as well. Something like that. Who's outside the squad? That's the second choice left. Oh, actually, that's a much easier decision. So 3 months, you're an optimist. I am indeed. Vex, you always worry about them unresting my squad, like to either sign him or get him out. Probably an amateur mistake. I mean, I find that having players pissed off at you isn't really that much of an issue as long as you perform well. Like the small dip in morale generally can be fixed by winning the next game, and they'll kind of be. They won't all suddenly be perfect, but they'll be at least in a decent position. And I quite like that issue, because in a real world, the amount of times I reckon that every single week whilst you're at work, there will be something that happens that pisses you off to the extent that you are absolutely adamant that your colleague or your boss or the job or any one of those things are the worst thing in the world that you need to get out. So like being unhappy in a work environment just kind of, oh, right, second home game of the Champions League. We've already beaten Arsenal. Can we handle games where the expectations are a little bit more on us? You know, it's one thing playing against a team where it's expected to be tight and the opposition are likely to be a little bit more open. But against a team that might defend against us, can we break them down? That's a good chance early on. It's a penalty. Oh, really? I mean, that's not that different from the Torino one, I guess. Mosconi was the target. Looks like someone clipped his legs just a little to put him off. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. We've been robbed. Robbed, I tell you. Yeah, like, I kind of embrace players getting annoyed and angry. It's absolutely fine. And if it does escalate eventually, yeah, there is the catalyst for getting rid of them. So Zerachel just runs the Sir Alex approach. If they piss you off, they get under 18's team until you can get them to bugger off. I mean, it works, doesn't it? I mean, let's be fair. The highlight, I reckon, of this entire save so far, this is our 10th season. My highlight is Nico Gonzalez fucking off. Right, Palmer with the corner, sends it in. Kajusto's the target, gets a wave by Doganchan. Mosconi picks it up, can send it back in. Now he's going to the far post where Palmer is waiting. And Kazinchan gets there just before Palmer can volley it for what would have been the greatest goal of all time. It was guaranteed. He was going to hit that so sweet. Right, Navarro sends it in. Here's Kerem. Back out to Navarro. Fires over. It's an encouraging sign in the starting moments. We've had a few chances, momentum's in our favour, but we haven't broke through. So that's where we start to increase the tempo. Let's try and break them down before they have a chance to settle. Right, Kazim Chan with the throw-in. Here's Holst now. He's going to play it all the way back, and we can sag off a little bit. Ayan into Mendy. Going to spread it out, and Navarro reads it well. Kerim plays it back. Navarro down the left-hand side. Beats his man. Sends it low. Palmer. Oh, it's a great save from Bayindir. Palmer clips it in. Fortunately, just a little bit too close to Bayindir, who sticks his arm out and heads it away. And then from the corner, Mena rises highest. It's another great save. All tie, you bastard. Vexed, all these Rangers fans in the chat might need to see a Rangers money ball. I mean, they're always one that are under consideration. One of the problems, one of the general principles when choosing a team is that they are teams that underperform, and it's very, very difficult for Rangers to underperform in FM because you would consider that to be like routinely finishing third when it's a two-horse race. But because in FM they often finish second in that first season, there is certainly some scope for it. So you never know. But there's also a lot of teams in my list of to-dos. So any particular reason for the move away from Elena Kane to Parma false line? Adam, so Elena Kane earned 400,000 euros a week. It's as simple as that. I would love to still have Elena Kane. But there is, as we're looking to another penalty denied. It's rare. It is very, very rare that I see an overturned penalty in a game. Like when it's not one of those was it in the box ones. But to see it twice in a game. Wow. Wow, here's Navarro. We're still looking for the breakthrough. And there it comes. Albert Navarro with his second goal of the season. Okay, so Bayindir has made like 3 really good, really great saves. This one. And that one, he dived before the shot came in. Somehow he was on the floor and the ball went through his body. I suppose we need that little bit of luck, considering we've had the 2 penalties denied. But, FM, keep on FMing. So obviously Sampdoria has to be next. I mean, that's also the problem, isn't it? Is I don't like when I'm doing ones in the future, I prefer to be in a situation whereby I'm moving forwards from the starting point of the game. Trying to get Sampdoria relegated 2 seasons in a row would definitely be a challenge to even take them over. So Davo, what next after the Everton Moneyball Clinic? So we have next week. There's going to be a members only video, which is the Everton Moneyball Clinic. We're going to take a look at. I'm going to basically be doing a tier ranking of the players. We're going to assess every single player that I managed. Going to reveal their attributes. We're going to look at them as a whole package and transfer fees, wages, what they've gone on to since they've left, and so forth. Nice little review there. After that, it's actually going to be about skinning. So the next video after that is going to be focused around skinning. And then there's a couple of clubs in mind for the next Moneyball Clinic, but I want to keep them close to my heart for the time being. But again, we're going to say you can improve in that second half. There we go on that lot. Going to pop you as an inside forward. Anyone need to come off? I don't think so. Let's see if we can get a second nice and early in the second half if we can. Sampdoria or Parma sleeping. Parma is a sleeping giant, and one that I'm definitely very, very keen on. It's weird, isn't it? How like the Parmalat scandal probably comes down as one of the smaller scandals in Italian football, which means that as a club, Parma kind of have come away relatively unscathed. From you compare that to people's opinions about like Juventus, for example, very, very different. It's these modern goalkeepers with no bellies, indeed. So Vex, how many takes did that take you to record? There's a good chance. Atabolo with the save. Are you talking about Milan and only? Milan e Rossoneri. I can't open the stems right now, but actually, probably not that many. The high lines are usually the ones that I have to record multiple times. The low monotone drone notes, I've naturally got a low voice, they're alright. Melody probably took a couple of takes. And that's why they're so bad. That's why they're so bad, because maybe I should take more time over it. Right, let's bring on Carmona. He's looking tired. Let's bring on Izuk. Let's now bring on Kovacic as well. We can bring on some of those tired players, those not quite match fit players there. I just don't want to start with them. Momentum, though, has moved in Galatasaray's favour, so I think we're going to drop the tempo. Pajuste, Takari. He plays it back. Kovacic just on as a substitute. Mosconi cuts inside. Has to go back once again. And Menia. We're now almost all in their half. Pajuste. Back to Menus. Dropped a little bit, trying just to bait them out a bit. Here's Carmona. Drops deep. Finds Navarro. Izak makes the run. Izak with the volley. It's a lovely, lovely shot, but Bayindir gets his feet to it. 2-0 would have been nice. Would have been nice, potentially. Here we go. Menia, that'll do. Thank you, Crudmo. I forgot that I still had the desktop audio on after the theme. Very much appreciated. Right, Paolini can come on. Last substitution as well. Could you stay off? Grinders on. And let's just hopefully see everything out now. Oh, drop that tempo down. That was what I was meant to do before that point. Good point. FM26 Moneyball then. Exactly. Luca is playing for Italy. Nice. He's definitely going to do a Liverpool Moneyball soon. I just know it. It's very unlikely. Very, very unlikely. If you guess which team will I tell you? That seems like a reasonable proposition, but no, because more than anything else, one of the joys of keeping it close to my heart is that if something changes, I'm then able to change as well. Like, maybe there'll be some big news that happens in the coming weeks that will impact what the choice is, or there'll be just an idea that crops up that makes I didn't think about doing one for Philadelphia Union. Let's explore the MLS rules whilst we're doing it, and that suddenly becomes the new cool thing in my head. So I'm going to keep it safe and guarded. 1, for the mystery. 2, because it gives me an out. Okay, third time lucky. Come on. If this happens, if this is denied. Hey! I don't need drugs to enjoy that, just to enhance it. Oh man, you can't write it. Yeah. I mean, you can write it. It's not that crazy a situation. Oh. Incredible stuff. Adam, when's the last time you did any save non-attributeless? So the saves, the 2 times that I've done the chat, well, the stream over the Christmas period, which wasn't for charity, it was just to create a space for people to tune in when, you know, often what they normally do, their routine's broken, so it wasn't specifically for a charity. And then the charity stream back in April, both of them were non-attributeless, but otherwise the last time I did a non-attributeless save is probably like 3 or 4 years ago, so quite a while. So what do you think about Milan actually bringing in 40-year-old Luka Modric? That signing is so... Yeah, Zoitril, I agree with Zoitril there. Like, Italy is where 40-year-old players play. That's just the rules. Mr. Momoman, any plans to use a different match engine in a save? You've been using the FM Labs match and training engine. It's extremely good. So many more types of goals and passes, but not outlandish. Mr. Momoman, I've tried them all. I've you know, I make sure to pay attention. I'm very much in favour of people trying to mod and experiment. From my observation, especially when I played games in full match highlights, everything just felt a bit too compressed for me. It felt like the speed, the low speeds had been increased, the high speeds had been dropped, and that it just feels a little bit uncanny. It doesn't feel like football when I watch it. It feels a little bit more like using the sliders on FIFA, which, you know, when sometimes you need to make it a little bit different for yourself. So I say different, not easier, not harder, not better, not worse, just not for me, I'm afraid. So this dictatorship, it is indeed. Brazilian Fury, you heard something about a skin related video. Is this my time to start sending you all the color variants of them I've made? I mean, you're more than welcome to, but it's going to be something very, very different to what you might expect. That's probably, it's just going to be old man yells at clouds whilst pretending to be helpful. We have plenty of new gen Zoitril. Like, I mean, we have David Fusari, Kevin Menia. Like, we've got players in the senior squad who can be renamed. Ilan Siklic, Alfredo Paolini, who's just moved up into the squad there. Ricardo, I'd probably avoid the big signings. So, like, I think Benato was a big signing from Inter. Profundi was a big sign. Well, I mean, he was like only 10 million. Kevin Menia was a big signing. So what would you like to name someone, Zoitril? And do you have a preference for what position you want me to rename? We could, so Mosconi, no. Carmona we can rename. Probably leave Rocha, yeah, Paolini. Or we can pick a random player from the youth centre as well. I don't think we've got many in the under-20s that... We've got Barbieri, we've got Ricci here as well. So pick the name Crodmo, pick the name... I mean, Crodmo, if you want to pick the name Crodmo, you could redeem your points. That would absolutely work. So pick the highest aggression player. Okay, let's see. Right. How do I... Yes, we should be able to do this with mental attributes. Aggression, not Milenkovic. Simone Greco. Is Greco likely to make the grade? I'm not familiar with that name. Apparently we can't get a coach report on our own player. Potentially doesn't look good, so we'll probably pass by on Greco. Let's check through in the senior team out of those guys as well. Cajuste, Theo, the only standouts in that regard. We do have a couple of young players as well. Gaetano is expected. He's unambitious. Could improve a lot, but that doesn't say much. And then Bonafede. Bonafede is less promising. So, right. I'm genuinely going to cover my eyes. This might seem ridiculous, but So we've got 2 players who have elite aggression. I'm going to just see chat. No, I need to make sure I'm in the right place. Right. Is the 3rd player down a regen? Is it around here? I can just see chat, nothing else. I haven't worked out how on earth I'm going to work out where to click on the screen. That's a problem. That is definitely a problem. So we're looking at, let's just take any of the regens then. So we've got Kevin Mania, Tommaso Profundi, Ricardo Rocha, Diego Carmona, Paolo Bonato, the goalkeeper, Uzari. So I forgot who it was. Mena is top. Okay, cool. Right, I'm now going to change the view so I don't know anything there. Beautiful. Kevin Mania it is, and he's going to be called Bjorn Rod. Do you want a funky letter in Bjorn? Does Bjorn normally have the does it have umlauts normally? Or the cross one? Well, I can go back and change that anyway. What's happened to your regen? It's me, Ronnie. You mean the glorious, the wonderful Emiro Hasuki. Emiro Hasuki is still part of the team, very much a starter. I mean, he is fighting with Ilario Monterisi, but Emiro Hasuki is still very much here and doing well. A significant part of our squad. And so the correct one would be an O with the accent there. I don't actually know what that accent is called. What is that accent called? Can I remember the code for it? It is... I did have it. I could just go through all the options. Edit nickname. So it's 0247. No, 0246. 0245. 0244. 0243. 0242. 0241. 0248. There we go. It's 0248. Björnrod. It's in both of them. There we go. 0248. Björnrod. There we go. At centre back. Nick, well, you can randomly pick one too. Call him HG Buckers, please. It's called O with a slash through it, indeed. So that with the umlaut, let's go for Paolini as a player that I think is going to get into get some game times in the coming seasons. So let's go with HJ 0246 Buckers. Look at me remembering it. There we go. That's number wang indeed. Translates to bear red. I like it. I like it indeed. So he's a great artist, he is. I will look up HG Buckers afterwards as well. Right, okay. We've got an ad break coming up. We will then come back and play the mini game that I missed. So medical car. Let me know who you want to rename, what name you want. When we come back, we will do that. Then we will play the mini game. Then we will play the game against Katanzaro, which will be the last game of the stream, because we've then got a month, like just under a month until the game that follows after. So that's cool. So he's called Hendrik Jan, but like HJ Moore. That's fair enough. That is fair enough. So yeah, cool. We've got the ad break coming up, so I'm going to see you guys in about 3-4 minutes, and we'll do the honours. Cool. See you in a moment. And we're back. So, you will have seen in the chat window that there is now a link for another game of bingo. If you're new in, you haven't played it before, I will explain the rules. Every player gets a unique bingo card with 16 different squares. On those squares will be clubs or nations or competitions, players or managers, things that you need to connect players to. We then all get a list of 60 players. The same list, one after the other. We get 10 seconds to work out if they match one of those squares. If they do, click on the square. Once you click on that square, however, you can't undo it. You can't put a future player in that spot. If they don't match, you skip. And the goal is to try and get 16 matches. Nice and simple, right? We'll give it probably about a minute and a half for people to register. So there's time for you to get set up. Head on over to the link. Now, those are some great name suggestions. They are not suggestions, just great names. Mark Deman, Jizz Hornkamp. Jizz Hornkamp is just sensational, isn't it? Let's be fair. Absolutely sensational. I mean, Die My Flea, Jay, by the way, welcome in. Whatever gifted promise translate to Italian should be a safe bet. Could definitely go with that. Could definitely go with that. There is, so for the new gen nicknames, that is a redeem with channel point. So if you head down, like at the bottom of the chat window, like there's a little bit down at the bottom left with like the logo and the diamond face, and you can then get the redeems there as well, which is a way of doing that. And you can rename basically most regens. I try and avoid ones that are kind of already established if possible, but I'm not that anal about it. I'm pleased to say that we do now have a regen called Pizza Pasta. So Pizza Pasta is going to take over Mitja Kovacic, who's one of our centre backs, currently kind of fighting with Hisuki for game time, and Monterisi now that we've signed Monterisi as well. But the way that we play with when we play with the back three, that kind of works out a little bit. Right, so that's Doué's name in English. That's quite cool. That is very, very cool. Right, we've got a few seconds left here now, so I will in a second, somewhere around now, click the button to start. So head on over to your browser and make sure you're following along. For those that don't know, because it's the list in the same order, I take the first few very, very slowly. I'll wait until the very, very last second, so that I don't get ahead. There's that slight delay with the streams, so that players get a little bit of a chance to see ahead. And Franco Armani, who even is Franco Armani? I genuinely have no idea who Franco Armani is, which is a good way to start, right? Coming up with names that I don't even notice. Right, Gary McAllister. I should have played that last one. McAllister, surely I can't see anything off the top there. So Julian Ryerson, Dortmund right back. I don't know much about him before then, so that can go. Mario Hermoso, I associate with Atletico Madrid. Don't think that matches any of those. That one can go. Right, Victor Moses. So we'll go with Chelsea or we go with Lukaku. I think I'm going with Lukaku here. I feel like I've got a better chance of recognising Chelsea players when they pop up. Whereas I know that Moses played at that time with Lukaku, or there's enough crossover. Florian Wirtz, obviously that's a reasonably easy one to go with there. Hasn't won over those, that's fine. So Kluivert, has he been a golden boot? I don't know if he's ever... Ron Kluivert. Oh, for Christ's sake, I'm bad at this. I am very, very bad at this. Well, that's all good. Thankfully, I can't score points, so it's all good anyway. Right, now we've reached the Everton section. Yerry Mina, followed by Seamus Coleman. We can now start skipping through some of these, that's fine. Marcel Desailly, obviously I'm going to go with the Euros, I think, here. Arturo Vidal for Chile. Mikel Merino, obviously Champions League top scorer, or he will be once he's had a full season up front for Arsenal. Gianluca Pagliuca, golden boot. Did he ever win the UEFA Cup? I don't think so. So We'll let them go. Robertson, we can go with Liverpool there. Lichtsteiner. Shame. Do you remember when Lichtsteiner was at West Ham? That was a weird transfer. Davor Suker, what a player. What a player. But I'm not confident on any of those options. Leroy Sane. Has he ever won a Europa League? I don't think so. Takumi Minamino. Has played in the Dutch top division. Steven Gerrard. Won the UEFA Cup, surely. That Alaves won. Idrissa Gueye. Managed by... Had he left Chelsea, Everton by that point? I'm going to say that he's left. I'm not going to risk it. Jamal Musiala, we're going to skip there. Franck Ribéry. Don't think he would have top scored in the Champions League. Andrei Shevchenko must have had a season where he top scored. Must have done. He won't have done. That will be the clear mess up there. Baresi, we're giving a skip there. Dadson, welcome in, my dude. How are you, sir? How are you? Lovely to see you, my man. Right, Daily Blind, we'll go with that one there. Craig Bellamy. Newcastle. Zamorano. Won't match any of those. Maybe Ancelotti. I don't think there's crossover there. Claudio Bravo. Vida doesn't strike me as one that I'd pick up on. Lovren. Balotelli. I don't think there's any crossover with Ancelotti there. Toldo, maybe, I don't know. Guardado, we'll let him go. Campos. James Ward-Prowse. Jose Font. Ricardo Carvalho. Surely one of Ancelotti's Real Madrid spells. Right, Theo. We're looking for Brazilians who've played for Milan, and we're looking for Man United players. Man United players now to go. Unai Simon. Nico Williams. Alberto Gilardino. Helguera. Vieri. Van Basten. Beckenbauer. Rivaldo. We're down to one. I haven't seen a Man United player in a while. Romario. Raul. That's a shame. That is a shame. So we've got a bingo. Well done, Crodmo. Well done indeed. Draw comes in second, followed by GNG, and then there's a gap. So in fourth, we have Joint and Skern, Nick and Matto. Well done, guys. Well done. So Dadson, Guitarbo, how are you? I'm good. I'm good. You have arrived just in time. Well, we've still got one game left to go. We've got a match coming up against Katanzaro. But yeah, not doing too badly. Not doing too badly. I am pleased to be joined by the two-time Goal of the Month winner. Greavesy, the less said about that, the better. Jesus, well, don't worry, I won't expand. I won't show any of the others. Theo, where can you download the Musterman skin? Well, funnily enough, you can pop into the description on the video. It's contained in there, or you can head over to the link that should just be appearing about now for you, sir. Skipped Ericsson. I don't even remember Ericsson coming up. I mean, I was expecting at least one towards the end, but there we go. Do we have Zeratrals? I will check back. Zeratral did get himself 1 point in the last round of bingo. Let's see how he gets on this time. But until then, let's skip forward. So we now have Mitya Kovacic is now called Pizza Pasta. HJ Bonkers is our left back. And where is Bjorn Rod? Bjorn Rod there as our starting left-sided centre back. Beautiful stuff. Draw, but missed it by one. So close. So close. Oh, okay. We need to go back. We need to go back to bingo there, because Zeratul has also got himself bingo, Crodmo, and Zeratul with a fantastic 16 out of 16. Sensational stuff, gents. Sensational. And we can then skip back to the game, which is all good. So yeah, where were we indeed? So Douay's name is, what was it again? Die My Flea J. It is Gifted Promise. That is a very, very, very highfalutin name indeed. Feels very, very grand. So Zerachel, well played indeed. And I'm working on my pace, sorry, down from 8 to 6 minutes at least. Take all the time you need, sir. It is a marathon, not a sprint. Like, what type of people play bingo normally, right? It's old people, yeah? Old people aren't known for their pace. It's meant to be a slow, gentle game. In fact, I would even argue that the 10-second timer that the browser game implements is an affront to the legacy of bingo. Disgraceful. It's Gifted Promise. A sensational name. So Katanzaro, we have just seen. This should be an easy win, right? We shouldn't be worried about Katanzaro, but they did just beat Roma 6-4. Roma have only just been promoted back up into Serie A, so Roma aren't necessarily a good team, but I don't think we can take it for granted. I suppose is ultimately the point I'm getting at. See, GNG agrees the timer is anti-bingo. It's disgraceful. In fact, I feel like a complaint needs to be made. How dare they? There are some other rounds in bingo as well, I've noticed. There are, I think they've added a new icons one, so where all the players are retired legends. So what we'd probably do in future game, they also have English League only, Italian League only, Spanish League only, and Brazilian League only, and a Tottenham one. Tottenham is the only club-based one they have, which seems a bit weird, but yeah, there we go. So I think that, yeah, on evenings where we do multiple rounds of bingo, maybe what we'll do is we'll split it up between the different options potentially, and see if we can therefore find different strengths for different people as well. So what that means is that whenever Crudmo's at band practice, we'll do the icons one. A Sunderland game is needed. There we go. That would be. I mean, it seems weird to me, the idea of having, like, if you're going to do a club specific section, right? You don't release that publicly until you've got at least like 4 or 5 clubs done. You know, maybe you won't have every club done. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of database stuff that you've got to do that can be really, really tricky. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Welcome in, Raiders. Root, how are you, sir? How was the stream? How does things go with Malden? If you guys aren't following Root, go on over and send him some love if you can. You've been going now for about 2 months? Absolutely lovely gentleman. A true kind fellow. Very much worth a follow. And Dadson, I meant to ask, sorry, I do apologise because we were in the middle of bingo, but are you streaming on your current Dadson Needs Justice account, or should I be funneling people towards your old account? Is justice on its way? So Terry's in as well. Welcome in, my dude. Thank you very much for the follow. Lovely to see you, my dude. And Retro Gamer's in. How are you? How are you? It's good to see you as well. So Die My Flea J asked a question, which is, when is the San Siro renovation on the way? I mean, this whole San Siro thing's been a little bit funky, hasn't it? Because wasn't it they were going to build a new stadium, then they were going to just renovate, and it seemed to be on and off all the bloody time, right? No worries at all, Root. No worries at all. I hope it's going. How was the stream tonight? Here we go. Katanzaro playing a 4-2-3-1. So we're sticking with the 3-4-3 seems to be doing well against the 4-2-3-1, so we'll stick with that. From a lineup perspective, in comes Bonato and Nuamo again. Back comes Reinders, Theo, and Profundi. Actually, Hisuki's back in. Monterisi at the base of that midfield. Washer in for Cajuste. I'm going to drop down to positive but higher tempo from the start. That's done well for us during games. I want to see it from the start. I expect it might be a little bit less effective, but then we can always revert back and kind of see how it goes. Again, we're going to say no pressure. Going to keep on telling these guys just to relax, enjoy themselves, do what they know how to do. Terry, so as far as you know, Inter Milan are both building new stadiums or will be in different parts of the city. Awesome. So Root, stream was good. FA Cup double header tonight. Marvellous. That means that you won at least the first round. How did the second round go? Bonato sends the cross in. Reinders can't get there. Profundi will gather from the... I thought we were going to get a goal straight from kickoff. There could still be a chance. Here's Washer. Washer finds Theo. Theo feeds it across the box. It's so close to Bonato, but he can't quite get there. And then Di Giovanni, a player we considered signing this summer with the foul. There's going to be a highlight. Bonato scored a free kick already this season. Off the bar, Hasuki with the follow-up. And there he is with the new name, Bjorn Rod.
Take that away from me.
There we go. That's the start we wanted. So as replays route. Fair enough. Did you win the second replay? Are you through to the next round? So Draw, will the stream be at the same time tomorrow as today, or as I saw posted 2 hours out? It will be at the same time, so 7 p.m. British summer time, 8 p.m. Central European time, 3 p.m. or what's the one for the East Coast of America? Is it Eastern Standard Time? I don't know. What time is it in Australia? It's like 10 hours ahead for Australia, depending on where you are in Australia. So that would be 5 a.m. potentially. That's, you know, something along those lines. And there's an immediate equaliser from Jose Maria. Arthur Zagra with the low cross. Hasuki brought in. Looks to be the man that's been highlighted there. Zagra comes forwards on the break. Profundi looks like he's going to get back there. Kind of takes a look over his shoulder, switches off. Cross comes low, in behind Hasuki. Jose Maria sweeps it in. So you're through. Fantastic route. I love the song. Did you make that yourselves? I did indeed. That's why it's so bad. East Coast of USA will be 2 p.m. Eastern. Is it 5 hours Eastern? One of them in America. I thought the easternmost was 4 hours behind. Oh, well. I've completely got it. Yes, wait. No, it's 5 hours, isn't it? Because the 1 p.m. games... Oh, Nuama! Nuama, what a goal. What a goal that was. Yeah, there's 1 p.m. games are at 6 p.m. over here. Look at this strike from Ernest Nuama. An immediate response. Gosh, oh, it's not that much in the corner. I thought it was a lot more in the corner. But we'll take it anyway. So far, there have been 3 shots on target, 3 goals. Momentum is very much in our favour, but we're still not creating enough at the moment. Here's Profundi. Profundi wins out on the tackle. Bonato fires it, and that's the second time Bonato's hit the bar in this game. Poor lad. I've deliberately taken woodwork off this stats thing because it would upset me too much. So Jose Maria, who scored for them, reminds you of a player named Jose Marie, who once played for Milan. There we go. Nice. Angel, you're a fan of the stats at the bottom. It's something I'm still not quite sure about on, because there's only limited availability for stats. So things like you can get progressive passes, but you can't get something. There are like certain stats that you can't get that feel logical. So I'm still working through those ideas on that one. Roots off to bed. Have work in the morning. No worries. Thank you very much for dropping by. Have a lovely night's sleep, my dude. Right, can we get a third before half time? A 2-goal cushion would be nice. Monterisi now to Hasuki. Reinders sends it over. Bonato looking for it, and he puts it out for a throw-in. Oh dear. So yes, EST is 5 hours behind. Perfect. Thank you for the confirmation, Terry. Reinders to Monterisi to Pafundi. Here's Noyama. Oh, Noyama. We are peppering chances in the last few moments. Have all of our shots been highlights? It feels like we've had a lot more than that, but there we go. Again, we're only winning by 1 goal, so we are going to say that we expect more going to this second half. I think that means we're going to increase the tempo even further because we are otherwise quite dominant. We are going to bring on Zanotti and Kari for the booked players. And let's see how we go. Yep, Cromo's off too. Big day tomorrow. Won't be on stream night as you're off gigging. Indeed you are. Have a wonderful gig. Enjoy racking up thousands of leaderboard points in my absence. We will make sure we're going to double the amount of games just to get you to sink a little bit further behind if possible. Have a great night's sleep, my dude, and yeah, have a great gig. Right, Atabono. So as mentioned earlier, guys, this is the last game of the stream as well. So we've got the international break coming up, the big one in October that's like 3 weeks long. So I will move the game forwards off stream whilst there's no games, no transfer window or anything. Before tomorrow evening stream as Kari looks to make it 3-1. There we go. Eamon Kari, he's only been on the pitch for 2 minutes. Beautiful stuff. Oh, why FFF's you? What? I'm lost. I'm confused. I mean, there's nothing new there. Let's be fair. Right, Dalemura to Albertini. Do we have a response from Katanzaro, or can we wrap this up nice and early? A 4th now. I mean, I'm going to say this after every goal is I want another goal. I want as many goals as possible. Here is Kari. Kari with a shot blocked. Zanotti follows it up. It's a block from Albertini behind for a corner. That was from their kickoff from our last goal. Theo with the corner sends it into the far post. Leben comes all the way out. Leben? He'll be one of those. Rocha, Theo's right, double change coming now. So Theo's taken a knock. Rocha has a yellow card. So we only have 1 substitute remaining for the last 40 minutes. 35 minutes or so. As Nuama fires again, blocked out behind for a corner. Bonato's going to take it. Oh, and that, how about that for timing? There's the voice croaking. Could you stay with the header? Never causing trouble. Far over a free kick to Kari. Kari plays out wide to Zanotti. Zanotti with the cross in. Kari goes down. Palmer to Bonato. There's the goal. But what's the ref done here? I mean, there was clearly a penalty there. You can, if it was offside, just forget it. It's not important. Ref. Clear foul on Kari. And Bonato was clearly offside as well. That's fair. That's fair. We win games, says Zerachel. This is so amazeballs. Did it finish 3-0 or were there more goals, Zerachel? I am looking forward to catching the highlights of that one. That is crazy. Crazy. 3-0. I mean, I know you were at home, but still. That's a sensational. And the 2-0 goal is worth watching. Okay, I might be watching it immediately after the stream, in fact, if I can find a highlights package. Right, last substitution to make. And that substitution is going to be... Let's bring on Pizza Pasta. Let's bring him on for Bjorn Rod. Perfectly normal sentence to say. You know it's a good day when Haaland does not look rubbish. It's so weird how bad he looks for Norway, isn't it? I get that, you know, when you're used to playing for teams that are dominant and in the ascendancy, you're used to very specific type of service. And it can be difficult at an international level where maybe you're going to be set up a little bit more defensively. There's different things being asked of you that aren't necessarily to your strengths, but still, like, he should be better than that, right? City Haaland, so bad. To be honest, for Norway, he's been okay, really. I always find that when I've seen, and granted, I only ever see highlights of Norway games, it just looks like it doesn't like stick. It looks like he's, I don't want to say that he's not trying, but it looks like he doesn't make the runs or moves that you'd expect to see, that you see him at Dortmund, see a little bit less frequently at Man City, as Katanzaro pull one back with only a few moments to go. Di Giovanni, the man we wanted to sign in the summer, but signed a new contract with Katanzaro before we bid on him, sends it across to Diawara. Atabola could do nothing. So let's just see this game out. Let's drop everything back down. It's just a minute and a half to go. Surely there's nothing that could go wrong here, like a counter-attack from Katanzaro in the last minute. Zanotti cuts it out. Thank God for that. Zanotti to Nuama. Nuama back to Zanotti. Time is surely up now. Just want the referee to blow his whistle as Nuama comes across. Finds Suzuki. Back to the keeper. There we go, ref. There we go, ref. That's time. Unless you're going to let us score another goal. Here's Palmer. Palmer takes aim from distance. Yeah, we're all right. We're all right. Sorloth and Noosa are way better. Angel asks, what do you think of the Cherky links to City? Sounds wonderful. It certainly seems interesting. I think Cherky's a really, really good player. I feel like it might be a little bit underwhelming by comparison to, like, when you have conversations about Verts, only a few weeks ago, Cherky does feel like a notable drop off from that level. But he's still a wonderful player. I'd be keen to see how it works. I think he's going to be a very good player. But it does kind of feel like it's just that level slightly below what I would expect City to go for. Terry, is this a retro database? No, it's not. This is very much a future database. We are in 2032. So we started in Finland with IFK Mariehamn for 4 years. Went to Darmstadt, who were in the Zweite Bundesliga, facing relegation. We saved them, got them promoted, got into European competitions. 4 years there. And then this is the beginning of our second season with AC Milan. So we're quite a way into the future now. We've got a reasonable amount of new gens in and about. And so there we go. That's not been too bad. We're 4 points off top. But we have played a game less than Fiorentina. So actually, although we've drawn 2 games, we're potentially not that far off striking distance. Good run of 3 wins in a row, plus 2 wins in the Champions League is quite nice. Nice big break coming up. Plenty of time for players to get injured whilst away on international duty. I think we're doing all right. I think we're doing all right. So, gentlemen, so Terry, there is no set goal. So there isn't a distinctive purpose to move clubs at any point. Just we will let the narrative emerge as it does. If that means we end up spending the rest of it in Milan, then so be it. If it means that we suddenly win the lottery in game and decide to retire tomorrow, it could happen. Who knows? Yeah. So no goals, just fun. Vex, no regens faces a trigger, you'll be honest. I'm sorry to trigger you. I'm sorry to trigger you. Ceretal, very solid games, apart from that warm-up one, indeed. Indeed, that warm-up one was not a good game. We were so bad in that game as well. But it's we switched to the 4-3-3. That seems to be doing all right for us so far. Some concerns over the defending in the last one, but those happen every now and then. So yeah, that's where we are. We are going to now close off. We'll be back tomorrow evening. I'm going to undo. I'm going to end the stream over on YouTube first, and then we'll come back to Twitch and we're going to raid out. Angel, this skin is not going to be publicly available ever. It is available to Patreons. But a version that is very similar to it is available to Patreons. But in terms of publicly released skins, that's me done. There won't be any new skins from me. But you can check out the details there. Have a read of the README, see if that's something you feel is good value. And yeah, hopefully see you guys on YouTube.